seizing your assets and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back.
Happy Thursday.
Hello, friends.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We meant, because I wouldn't have even noticed.
Wednesday.
Man.
The fact that it's Wednesday is such great news, isn't it, Hannah?
Today's Evelyn's birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday
How
to
old
Evelyn.
is Evelyn?
7.
7.
Wow.
Do you remember being 7?
I think I do remember being 7. I think I still remember. I feel 7.
It was my peak. And you've got a live at the top.
All right. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Do you think they're going to win Congress, win presidency, win both the presidency and Congress, or lose House
it all,
control?
wiped back out. Let's hope that you don't vote for that one.
Well, if that's how they feel,
If
then
that's
vote
how
for
you
it.
feel, you should say so. But
At 12:25, Tommy Pigott is going to join the show. He is the RNC Rapid Response Director. I really enjoy when he's on. He's going to talk to us about the GOP's plan to reach young voters.
that's going to be good. That is very much in line with the poll today.
Yes.
Wiggins America, I've got a I'm calling it heads or tails because I got 2 stories. And I'm going to sort of let you guys pick heads or tails, which one I start with. Then you'll have to pick which one of these is the worst, because they're 2 stories that are not happy stories. They're
Sounds like a terrible Wednesday.
Thursday.
If you want to be sad, listen to Wiggins America.
Don't go anywhere. We'll bring you down
Yeah.
at 12:45.
We usually do. We're going to go even deeper in that hole today.
Today we're actually going to talk about which story he does
At 1:05.
Yeah, also let me know which one I do worse on.
Yeah.
Like my performance, judge my performance.
I can't wait, really. 1:05, Deroy Murdock is going to join us. He is a Fox News contributor, and he's going to be talking about a lie that Democrats have of their own.
Democrats have a big lie of their own.
Just one?
Deroy, you know what?
Is it a big juicy
You'll have
one,
to
or
tune
is it
in at
multiple?
105 to find out.
What is his other topic? Deroy says things the way other people don't say things out loud. It's like Democrats to women, pound sand, or something like that. Is that what it is? Drop dead, not pound sand.
Drop dead.
Democrats to women, drop dead. It's like, okay, Deroy, let's go.
Straight
Let me
to the
hear
heart
what
of
you
the
have
matter.
to say about this.
Yeah, cutting to the quick.
So Deroy will be with us at 1:05, and then at 2:45, I will be reading the results to the poll question, which ask, how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Do you think they're going to win Congress, win the presidency, win both the presidency and the Congress, or lose it all, lose House control?
Quick poll of the room. Do you guys realize what was happening 1 week ago right now?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure
Are we
you
doing
know.
something about that today?
So yeah, a little bit of a tease.
A 2 o'clock hour tease?
If we get to it, which if you know, we'll see.
Boopgate
It's always
2023.
It's always, I was going to say, it's
What
always
year is it?
fluid. The show's always fluid.
Oh.
Hopefully this segment is.
This segment's going to be solid. Get it?
Yeah,
Heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Not going to bury the lead at all on this Wednesday afternoon. Lighter winds, acceptable winds, lots of sunshine, better temperatures. The northwest flow starting to ease. 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clear and chilly, 43. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower in the afternoon, but a lot of dry time on Thursday. 72. There will be showers around Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Foley Dental Group is there to make sure that your dental needs are taken care of, from the very basic run-of-the-mill 6-month appointment, get the teeth cleaned, get an x-ray, hope you don't have cavities, and come back again in 6 months. Foley Dental is there to do that, and that's always my goal. But there are other things that happen with your dental health, and you need experts who are going to give you the care that you need, nothing more, but be able to give you the technology to get it done right the first time, and to also be able to spot things before they become bigger problems than they might need to be. I am really wanting you to understand how broad of an approach Foley Dental Group can take with your dental care, the things that they're able to help you with in your life, especially when it comes to breathing issues. Man, there are so many consequences to having disordered breathing that your dentist can take care of. And Foley Dental Group are experts at this. My people in my family use them, and I would like for you to give them a shot too if some of those issues are plaguing you. You can find Foley Dental Group online at foleydentalgroup.com.
It seems like the last few years now, the violence, the hate, the anger is growing. I'm going to try to keep this as upbeat as possible, but to all the police officers, I want you to know we have your back. Not to forget about the fire or EMS, first responders, and definitely not our military. You all put your life on the line. I can't tell you. There's not a word I can say. Thank you is just not enough. And I believe 99.9% of Americans respect what you do. Do whatever you have to do to get back to your family during your shift. From my family to your family, and I think I can speak for overwhelming majority of American, overwhelming majority of human beings. Stay safe. And thank you for protecting us and doing what you need to do.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
It's the Zero Res Spring Flash Sale. Get a free hallway with any of our carpet cleaning packages with 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129. Call Zero Res at 314-474-2020 or online at ZeroResSTL.com for the Mark Reardon special. Zero Res, you spell it backwards or forwards, it spells the same.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But I'm glad we're talking about it because I think in 2016, the media in some ways, we kind of just felt even personally steamrolled just by never having experienced anything like this. And the reality is, if he's a serious candidate again, and that's something that the voters decide, then you can't ignore a serious presidential candidate. And so it puts the media in a very difficult position. So you do have to kind of ask him the tough questions. I agree. I mean, one solution, and just as a small example, is if you have a town hall situation, you can provide context to viewers in real time.
Did she say candidate? I thought she was going to say cantaloupe. That was the New York Times reporter Mara Gay talking about Trump being a serious candidate. That's a real question that we have to face as Americans and as voters. You have to ask yourself if Donald Trump is a serious candidate, if he's going to be the guy. You have to do the same thing with Joe Biden. I kind of touched on this last Friday a little bit during that circus of a show that we did here, and I think it's really important to understand that I think it's 62%. It was a Fox News poll. 62% of Democratic voters in their Fox News poll, 62% say Joe Biden is their pick. Over a third of Democrat voters are not picking the incumbent president, but a majority of Democrat voters are. What does that mean? Move over to the Republican side of the aisle. 53%, as of last Friday in that Fox News poll, 53% of Republican voters are choosing Donald Trump to be their nominee. Barely half, but a majority choose Donald Trump. That means that both of these individuals are kind of getting what I would refer to as the de facto nod from their parties. But there is a lot of room for them to improve upon their base, their voting bloc, and their ability to, in effect, win the 2024 presidential election. Welcome back to the Andy Frey Show. We appreciate you being here with us. We're kind of watching right now news coming out of Atlanta, an active shooter in Atlanta outside of a Whole Foods on Peachtree Street, which is just right in the, I mean, it's always, Atlanta to me always feels a lot like St. Louis when you see it on the ground. Very similar in the way that they display themselves, and the makeup of both of the cities are similar. And so now there's some coverage on that. So we're going to wait and see what develops from this. It's outside of a Whole Foods market, and the shooting was in a medical facility by a Whole Foods market, I should say. So it's happening right now. They don't have the person. They said there's at least one active shooter that is not in custody. Their injuries. That's essentially all we have reported right now. So this is the state of the country right now. It is a daily occurrence that you can pull up the news. You pull up whatever website it is that you choose to consume news. Maybe you consume news through Twitter or whatever it might be, and it's just a very heavy situation. Every news story that you see tugs at you in a different kind of way, and it's a lot. It's a lot for Americans to consume on a regular basis. A lot of Americans choose not to consume it because it is too heavy to fit in with life that individuals are going through on that regular basis. We are getting closer and closer every day to the November election, not of this year, but of next year. We are 552 days away, and it's only going to ramp up from here, which means Joe Biden is going to continue to campaign. Donald Trump is going to continue to campaign. There will be people in those primaries that continue to challenge the head person in that race, that party. And in the meantime, Americans are going to have to decide, what do we do next? What do we need to fix? What is it that we need to fix in this country that could even be fixed by a change at the top or status quo at the top? I really enjoy watching and studying the way that campaigns invest in trying to persuade you and me to come over to their side. And in a primary, it becomes difficult because a lot of the fighting is within the party. And that's to be expected. It's ugly. It's dirty. I was going to say nobody likes it, but that would be a lie. There are people who like it. Do you know people who like that? I mean, I don't know if there are civilians who like it.
Personally, no. People on Twitter, yeah.
It's a justification of existence in some capacity, I suppose. But you got to win a primary. Mm-hmm. You've got to be willing to go in there and say, hey, these are the parameters. We have to win this fight before we can win the capital T, capital F fight.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me the most, though, is that all of our, like general or even primaries, it seemed to me that I remember it used to be why I am the better choice.
Did it? I want to challenge you on that because I'm challenging us on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's more opportunities to share messages with people and inundate people with information.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody of an older generation than a millennial needs to comment on the YouTube live right now or something and educate us, because it does feel like, what was Ronald Reagan's A Better Tomorrow or Sunrise or something real foo-foo?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what. I remember 2 chickens in every pot and a car in every garage.
Oh, you guys. Now it's an electric car in every garage, and your chickens better be free range or we'll put you in jail.
But it just seems to me that there was a time when it was, this is why I'm the better choice. But even now in the Republican primary and the Democrat primary, it's vote for me because that guy is the literal worst. He is the worst thing ever. And I think that's a big problem of why everything feels so heavy right now. Even if it hasn't always been that way. I know there was muckraking and that sort of thing all the way back into like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. They just didn't get along. But it seems like if we would change the way we were.
Just came to me. It's morning in America. I knew the sun was coming up. I knew that there was brightness, but go on. Yeah, sorry. It's morning in America.
But that's my thing. I would so much rather vote for somebody rather than against somebody.
Is that going to happen? I mean, how does that change? That's how Donald Trump won in 2016.
Right.
Like that's the thing that's so frustrating about this is that if Donald Trump didn't abandon the Republicans, like, let's say all the good things about us, which is a version of what I say on the show all the time. Like, you need to tell, I'm talking about you talking to your neighbor or your family member, and instead of choosing violence with each other, you choose to advocate for things in a positive way, and then you choose one another over the fight because that's more important than politics. If we're talking the political arena and you're looking at what Donald Trump did in 2016, he said, your rules, let's go. And that's why he won.
Yeah. Well, in the Republican primary in 2016, he mixed that message of why that other guys weren't going to do it with, this is what my plan is. I mean, even in the general, he released a list of his Supreme Court justice picks. I would choose from this list to nominate for the Supreme Court. You know, it was stuff like that where it wasn't just Hillary's awful, crooked Hillary, but it was like also America first. We're going to bring production home. We're going to put tariffs on China. We're going to, he combined it with his message about what he would do differently. And right now it feels like his main message is I was robbed and those guys are terrible. And
JB says on YouTube, being 71, it was different in his opinion, but lesser than two evils was also around since back then. I need to hear the wisdom of the Gen Xers and the boomers and anybody else who's listening right now to tell us, that's cute, guys, that you think that we were all nice but it was, mudslinging down and dirty. I'll tell you what the YouTube live chat poll is today. It's how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? And this doesn't have to do with any specific candidate. I just want to know, where do you think right now, 552 days away from the election, where will the Republican Party land in November of 2024? Will they win Congress? Because they already have the House, so that would mean that they would win the Senate as well. Win Congress, win the presidency and Congress, or lose House control, which kind of instills the idea that we would lose everything. So the red wave that didn't happen in 2022, it would really not happen in 2024. Where do you feel the Republican Party is headed right now? We're going to talk with Tommy Pigott, who's the RNC Rapid Response Director. We don't talk to the RNC as much as we used to, and as we get towards a campaign that ramps up, we'll probably bring them on a little bit more. I'm not opposed to speaking to the DNC either. Maybe we can get them on the show to talk about their plans and just listen to, here's something that I'll tell you right now while we're not about to have the DNC on. We're about to have the RNC on. I will have the DNC on, and I will ask them questions, and they'll provide answers. And if I invite the DNC onto this show, I'm not inviting the people who are paid to represent the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. I'm not going to change their minds. They're better at arguing, and this is for the DNC and the RNC. These people are master debaters. They are people who understand how to make points, get from A to B, and to stick the landing so that they can move the needle with people. I'm curious if you would like the DNC, would you like to hear on this show for the DNC to come on? I'll ask them questions about, here are some statistics about the southern border. It seems to me like the southern border is a real problem. And it seems to me like the president identified it as a problem and put Kamala Harris in charge at the southern border. What kind of progress do you think that the vice president has made? And then the DNC is going to give their response. And then here's how this goes. The majority of you are not going to like his or her response to that question. But if I have them on my show, I'm not going to have them on to disrespect them. Does their answer speak enough? The idea that an answer would be given by the Democratic National Committee and it doesn't speak to what you want to hear. Do I need to, air quotes, put this person in their place in order to have a successful conversation? Because that's not what I'm going to do. I mean, if you've listened to the show for long enough, and if you've ever had the pleasure or discomfort of hearing me go into attack mode with somebody, it only happens when attacks become personal. If the issues are at the center of the conversation, I talk to anybody about anything, anytime. I kind of want to do that. And there are going to be people who will be like, oh, you let the person off the hook. Well, it's, you have to understand what my goal was. Sometimes I think that when you give people the opportunity to articulate and explain where they're coming from, if you're trying to assess, do I like A or do I like B, and you just hear what B is, there are a lot of people who are going to go, well, that sounds like a pretty dumb answer. And I'm sure there will be people who think that when I interview the RNC. We should maybe do that with the DNC as well. And just I trust you. This is very unpopular in political news talk media today. I trust you to listen to the responses and the answers and go, I don't agree with that at all, or that's what I've been saying. We'll see what we can do about it. Maybe we could have them on in the same day, back to back.
That'd be fun.
Okay, let's do something like that. Let's see. I want to hear what people think as well. If we should do that on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat, go there. And also vote in the YouTube live chat poll. How successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? We're going to hear from Tommy Pigott. He's a friend of the show. We enjoy when Tommy comes on with us to talk to us about what the Republican Party is doing, how are they coalescing, and how do you push yourself through what is likely to be a nasty primary to get to the general and to win. And how are they going to reach young voters? Because the Democrats wiped the floor clean using the Republicans in the midterm with those young voters. We'll be back in a minute. Tommy Pigott.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Working on the sound of the band, trying to get the music right, to go out working, reach their home at night. That's when she said she was pretending.
So let's talk about Stewart's American Mortgage and the craziness that is the mortgage industry right now. Having somebody in your corner who cares directly about you, your partnership with them to secure your mortgage or your refinance is because you went to them and said, hey, I need somebody in my corner. It wasn't somebody who is doing business with all the people who may be in the house purchasing circle that you're in, and it's just recommended, so you just go with them. Stewie's out there to make sure that you get the best deal, and he does. I've refinanced twice with Stewie, and it was a few years ago when I was able to lower my rate both times. If you've gotten a mortgage in the last, I would even check year, you need to go back and see if using the bagel loan, you can do a refinance right now, which will cost you nothing. There are no fees to go through this process, and see how much you can lower your rate, because rates really spiked. They've come down a bit since then. If you're looking to purchase a home, nobody is more competitive in the business than Stewart's American Mortgage, and he's got national recognition to back that up. You call him or text him at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw, or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Eric Clapton is coming to St. Louis September 12th, and we have your chance to win tickets. Now through May 7th, for each hour you listen to 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, you'll be entered to win. All you have to do is log in and listen. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm so happy that you're here with us this Wednesday afternoon. We've been talking about our YouTube live chat poll, which is how successful do you expect how successful do you expect the GOP as a whole to be in 2024? In the live chat portion of the Annie Frey YouTube channel, where we're broadcasting live right now, you can vote there. Are we going to win Congress, win the presidency and Congress? Or are we going to lose everything, including the House? You've got 552 days to figure out what the answer to that question is. But for right now, we're going to talk to Tommy Pigott, who is an RNC Rapid Response Director, who is working hard on making sure that the Republican message is concise and is out there for people to consume. Tommy, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
How do you feel right now? We are a far ways away from the election, but the hard work, I was going to say, starts now. It's probably been in the works for quite some time. How do you feel about the direction that the Republican Party and its message are headed?
Well, I'll say the way that I feel is motivated the most. If you just look at the Republican message, Republican policies in the states that are working versus Democrat policies, Biden policies from Washington, D.C. that are failing. So right now it's still over a year away. And so getting into a prediction game, I think, is a little bit futile, but I think in general, I feel incredibly motivated to go out there, elect Republicans, and I feel confident in saying actually
that the next president of the United States will be a Republican if we all get involved and we all get out and vote.
I like how you have the caveat of there, if we all get involved and if we all get out and vote. I had the pleasure of being at a Lincoln Day dinner last Friday in Illinois, across the river, and where I live in Illinois. But we had the Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft, from the state of Missouri, was their keynote speaker. He's talking a lot about elections. He's talking about the importance of course, fair elections. But if Republicans want to compete on the stage where Democrats have been winning, it's that early vote game. Tommy, what is the RNC's position on how Republicans can compete on this playing field where they haven't done so as well previously?
Well, this is a huge area of emphasis for the chair, Ronna McDaniel. This is a huge area that we want to expand upon where it was legal. So what she always says and what we really approach this issue is we fight for good laws, for fair laws in the courts, and then we play on the playing field that we're given. So where ballot harvesting is legal, for example, in California, we engage in ballot harvesting. And that is actually an area where we saw in 2022, because we engaged in efforts like ballot harvesting and early voting, turnout, we flipped key races in California. So this area is an area of emphasis. This area is an area that is a space to watch as we roll out new initiatives in order to make sure that we're competing as well and as efficiently and as aggressively as we can. We're still fighting for good laws in the courts, still fighting for a fair system in the courts, but playing on the playing field we're given to make sure that Democrats have no unfair advantage.
We're speaking with the RNC Rapid Response Director, Tommy Pigott, on the Annie Frey Show right now. And I'm thinking about the map that we look at on election night when the presidency is in play in a presidential election and you're waiting for states to go red or blue. And it seems to me as though there are a few places on the map that need to be the hotbeds of activity for anybody who wants to win that presidency. And those states have decidedly gone Democrat in the last election. A lot of the midterm elections kind of showed some success there with the Democrats, too. I'm curious, when it comes to Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, a few others, Michigan maybe, how is the Republican Party targeting these key areas and those electoral votes?
Well, I think a key thing to remember is building on the success that we did have in 2022. Obviously, we wanted even more success, but the idea that building on that success is essential. So we have to look at what issues resonated and what issues didn't. Issues like crime, for example, I believe did resonate extremely strongly in these swing states, but then also beyond that in places like New York and California, where we made huge gains in the House. So building on issues like that, but then also addressing issues, and the chair has talked about this as well, when it comes to issues like abortion. Democrats talked about this nonstop, and a lot of Republicans refused to address it or didn't want to address it. And I don't that's not a strategy that is going to win. We need to address this issue, address the extremism of Democrats who are beyond where the American people want to be, beyond where Europeans are. They're beyond even where communist China is on this issue. They are so extreme. So making sure that we're addressing that issue as well. And if you look at a lot of these key swing states, the top vote getter in 2022 statewide, in a lot of these states, was a Republican. So it's making sure that we look at those Republicans that did well, that did perform, make sure we build on their success, build on our success that we have on key issues, and then take a serious look at issues like abortion, where we need to message more aggressively and get candidates calling out Democrat extremism, because Democrats really are beyond the norm on this issue, really to an unacceptable degree.
Tommy Pigott with us right now. There's some chatter going on, listening to our conversation right now. And as we discuss, what the response is going to be from the Republican Party, one commenter says we have a good message. The problem is we don't do a good job of delivering it. And a challenger to that, somebody who's generally on the left in our chat, says, what is the GOP message? Because all I'm seeing is complaining about wokeness while voting to cut veterans benefits, Social Security, and Medicare. I hear that very point from people on the left as if it's a written talking point almost, that is challenging people who are on the Republican side about voting to cut veterans benefits and Social Security and voting to cut Medicare and only caring about wokeness. Tommy, you speak for the RNC. What is your response to that assertion?
Well, on the first point, it's complete disinformation that House Republicans have voted to cut veterans benefits, have voted to cut Social Security, have voted to cut Medicare. In fact, it's Joe Biden's plan, as it currently is, that would lead to Social Security cuts. If we don't address that program, if we don't address the solvency of that program, if we don't actually have an economy that is going to be getting more revenue and growing, then we're not going to be able to actually sustain those programs. There's going to be an automatic cut to Social Security under Joe Biden's plan. House Republicans are dedicated to shoring up those programs, making sure those programs stay solvent, to making sure we have an economy that actually continues to deliver. And I think the message is fundamental between Democrats and Republicans. If you just look at the states where people are moving in the millions, they are fleeing Democrat-run states as fast as they possibly can. California ran out of U-Haul trucks from people leaving the state, and they're moving to Republican-led states. Let's take those successes that is about empowering families, having safe streets, having a government that empowers small businesses, lowers your taxes, but then also does what a government is supposed to do, such as enforcing the law. That's the Republican message. The Democrat message is, we know better what's best for you. We know how to spend your money better than you do. We want to tax you into oblivion, keep on fueling inflation while refusing to enforce the law when it comes to putting criminals behind bars. That's the contrast. That's the message. And I believe that's a winning message for 2024.
Tommy, when we are watching the fight over the debt ceiling and, I hear folks on the left say, we have to pay our bills. It's important for us to pay our bills on time. That is a sentiment that I agree with. That is something that I can look across the aisle and say, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, we should absolutely be paying our bills. But why do we keep passing budgets that are more than we're taking in? And we don't have the ability to pay the bills because we don't have the tax revenue coming in that will compensate for those bills. You have two choices if you're a legislator right now. You either lower what you spend or you increase what you take in. How do Republicans going into Congress in 2024 answer that question?
Well, I think fundamentally what's clear with the debt ceiling is that Joe Biden's only plan is fiscal ruin one way or the other. He's the one threatening default right now because he wants to push forward this inflationary, destructive agenda that has already wreaked havoc on American families over the past 2 years. He wants to double down on that. That's irresponsible. That's the pathway to fiscal ruin. The only solution we have right now is to say, let's pass a responsible debt limit increase. Let's increase the debt limit, but let's draw back spending on many different agencies to where it was 4 months ago. And just to describe how hyperbolic and how absurd Biden's protests are to this, he's saying the world's going to end if we spend what we did in December 2022. 4 months ago. And he's saying the world is going to end if we do that. That just shows that Joe Biden's actually not serious about addressing the real problems that we have when it comes to our debt. We need to have a government that gets out of the way so that the economy can grow. And when you grow the economy, your tax base becomes larger, which means you can get more revenue. That's the solution to this problem, and that's the common sense proposals that House Republicans have put forward.
Tommy Pigott with us right now. He's the RNC Rapid Response Director. I listened to all of these economic responses that you have and questions that I have, of course, and questions that our listeners have. And when I'm thinking about it, these are issues that dramatically and very quickly do affect young voters. But they're also, let's just be honest, if you're 22 years old, this is probably boring. To a 22-year-old who's saturated with everything that is in front of them at any given time, they're probably not wanting to sit down and chat about economics. How do the Republicans that are running, how does the party intend to reach these voters to get them to understand the gravity of the situation and how generationally this is going to affect even the youngest among us?
Well, I think the big issue is to meet young voters where they are. Young voters are consuming media in different ways than older voters, though older voters are increasingly using many of the same tools that younger voters use, such as social media. So the first step is really to meet younger voters on the platforms where they're consuming this information, whether that's on Twitter, whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on Facebook, and really presenting messages in a way that resonate on those platforms. You can have small tweaks to how you're presenting information on Instagram versus Twitter versus Facebook that make that information go farther and reach more people. And then I think in tandem with that, with making sure that we're effectively messaging in the right format on these platforms, is to have a message that works, and that message is connecting all these policies in a real way, saying, you're paying high gas prices, this is why, because of Joe Biden's war on American energy. You can't afford that first home, here's why, because Joe Biden's inflationary crisis has led to surging interest rates. So making a clear connection between these policies in a concise way and a format that works on these platforms, I think is essential. And part of the effort to really learn how to do this and build on our efforts is the RNC Youth Advisory Council that the chair formed to really listen to young voters that are in tune with what conversations are happening on these platforms and saying, look, how do we reach these young voters and what issues do young voters care about so that we can take what we're already doing, refine it, build on it, and have the most effective message possible.
Tommy Pigott, thank you so much for the time today. I know that there is going to be a lot that comes at you, comes at the party, comes at the voter in the next 552 days. So I'm sure we will be discussing these things frequently as that election approaches. There's always so much to talk about.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Of course, we'll do it again. Tommy Pigott, RNC Rapid Response Director. You can follow him on Twitter at Tommy Pigott, Pigott, and let him know. Ask him your questions if you've got questions as well. Tell him you heard him on the Annie Frey Show and ask him. Have a conversation with him there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America is going to be here in studio. And the way I understand it, Brad, he's got two stories that are terrible, and he wants us to tell him which one is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that right?
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
I don't think that's what he meant.
So we, too, will tune in. What did he mean? They're bad stories?
I think not that the stories are bad, but what the stories are about
is
are
bad. And we're supposed to tell him which is worse.
Which we think is worse. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's going to happen right here on the Annie Frey Show. When we come back, don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So we've had Air Comfort Service in my home to help us with our residential needs. Our air conditioner went out, our furnace went out, our water heater went out, and Air Comfort Service was there to help us with all of those things. Our house was about 22 years old, and all of the things, it's just a really rough time for a house to go through because all of those things that were put into the house originally are starting to wear out. I went to Air Comfort Service. I trust Air Comfort Service. They came to my home. They gave me options. They gave me, opportunities for 0% financing and all of that stuff. They have rebates available. But I want to talk to you as well if you are somebody who makes commercial repair decisions. If you're a business owner, a building manager, operations manager, office manager that was recently told that your HVAC system may need repair, Air Comfort Service is there to help you as well. You can call them at 314-513-0091 and get the conversation started today. Tell them the Annie Frey Show sent you. 314-513-0091. You can do the research yourself if you like and look at their Google reviews. They are very, very positive, and it reflects my experience as well. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
An update from the Illinois Family Institute, illinoisfamily.org. Critical race theory and its tentacles. Dr. Eric Wallace calls it cultural Marxism that's dividing, destroying America.
People are getting put out of jail and not getting the sentences they should get because of critical theory, critical women theory, all these different theories that come out of that. So we're fighting against this.
Dr. Wallace leads the Freedom's Journal Institute. The Flossmoor-based organization is countering CRT with the RISE principles.
Responsible government, individual liberty and fidelity, strong family values, and economic empowerment. The ultimate goal is to understand that the only way to fix America is for there to be a great awakening.
Visit illinoisfamily.org for information on cultural issues impacting Illinois and our nation. And while you're there, sign up for emails from IFI. illinoisfamily.org.
Thinking of selling your house, but you don't want to deal with repairs, cleaning, realtors, photos, and showings? With Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com, you don't have to do any repairs or pay any commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris will give you a fair cash offer without any inspections, showings, or other headaches. That's 314-782-8000. At Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, beautiful houses, fixer-uppers, in any condition, as is. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com provides you the easiest sell possible and will assist you in every step of the way. If you want to sell and have any questions, please call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000 and get the offer you've been waiting for.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Onder Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million. The wait is over. Golden Oak Lending announces that we have dropped our mortgage rates to the lowest they've been all year.
If you've thought about purchasing a home or getting cash out to wipe out debt, you can now benefit from Golden Oak's low 5.25% rate.
Credit card rates are at an all-time high. Don't pay over 25% in interest.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 5.25% fixed, 5.928% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Don't suffer from spring allergies when Air Comfort Service has solutions to remove up to 99% of allergens. Improve your indoor air quality and get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Wiggins! All right, friends, I'm calling this heads or tails because you can kind of flip a coin and find out which one do you think is actually worse of these two stories. So
does that mean you think they're both equally bad?
they're both along the same lines, bad but different types of stories. So I want to know which one you think is worse, but I also want to know, heads or tails, which one you pick. Somebody call it, heads or tails. I'll start with either one.
Tails.
Okay, tails it is. This one has audio with it. I'm going to play it here.
And by the way, we will take a few questions if you want after we're finished. Is that okay? So I do that early so you can think. Otherwise, if I do it right at the end, that's the better way to do it. I'll finish and then I say, any questions? Okay, let's get out of here. Now you have a whole little time to think about it, but we'll take a few questions, okay? You think Biden takes questions? I don't think so. I don't think so.
So Annie alluded to this at the beginning of the show. CNN is going to do a Trump town hall. And that's not necessarily the negative part. The negative part has been the reaction from the left to the idea that their very beloved CNN would even consider talking to Trump in this fashion. MSNBC host Mehdi Hassan tweeted on Monday that CNN was, quote, giving a live primetime platform to an indicted insurrection insider who also incited violence against their network. David Kuritz, executive editor of the left-leaning media outlet Talking Points Memo, wrote that CNN choosing to do a town hall event rather than a one-on-one interview even enables Trump and those like him free rein to spew misinformation, falsehoods, and half-truths unhindered by any mediating journalistic considerations.
So let me get this straight. So Trump is indicted,
That's what
but not
Mehdi Hassan is
but
saying.
not convicted.
Correct.
So the opposite of not convicted is not guilty. So he's not guilty of that. He was impeached twice, but found not guilty. So he's not guilty of that. And they're upset because the opponent, the opposition leading candidate for president, is going to go on CNN, the most trusted name in news, to share his platform. And they don't think he should be allowed to do that.
You have it correct.
That's what I'm hearing. So these people in the media, their stance is the other side's presidential candidate shouldn't have a shot to share what he believes and what he would do because we don't like him. But Republicans are the fascists, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had all that clear.
I think that you did explain pretty much what this story was saying and the reaction to it. It's pretty remarkable that is exactly what these media members, media outlets even in some cases are saying, is that the idea that Trump would even be given a platform.
That's such baloney sausage.
Is against, I guess, democratic principles.
Yeah, it's undemocratic to give the other side a chance.
Yes. So that is 1 week from today, just if you were curious. That's May 10th. That town hall is going to happen. I think that's going to be must-see TV. This is an opportunity for him, in my opinion, to get away from the primary fight, which has been mostly him attacking DeSantis, and actually go back to either attacking Joe Biden and the policies that have been happening over the last 2.5 years, or touting his own policies to a much broader audience.
This is an opportunity, but CNN is going to be in control of that town hall, which means that CNN will be picking the questions. The CNN host will be monitoring those questions, presenting the information, taking that in the direction they want. It'll be very incumbent upon Trump to bring it back to where he wants to go.
Yeah, the moderator.
I think he can handle it.
I do too. The moderator is Caitlin Collins. I'm not very familiar with her. She's a CNN anchor. She's going to moderate the whole thing. It'll be in New Hampshire in a town hall setting. So, like you said, they will, of course, know probably which questions are going to be out there ahead of time. They have the ability to do that. But Trump this is his forte. I mean, this is his canvas to paint on, is these types of events. I can't wait for next Thursday because we'll get to talk about it and have tons of clips from that event, I'm sure.
This might have happened. I don't know, so I'm just going to ask. Has Biden ever came to Fox to do something like this?
I don't know that he's done a town hall.
No.
He hasn't done much of even interviews.
Well, like the other thing was, he was like, generally Fox would have the president on during the Super Bowl. If Fox had the Super Bowl, they would have the president on, and he didn't do that this year. He avoided it, so I don't think he's done anything like this.
Do you think this is a new leaf that CNN is turning, that they would even consider this because they were openly hostile to Trump?
I think CNN wants ratings.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are saying, is that they say, well, this is just CNN jumping on the bandwagon, but gosh, isn't that what they're supposed to be doing?
The bandwagon has the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
the ratings are way down the trail.
Exactly.
Usually will get there.
Exactly.
And the bandwagon would just essentially be reporting on news and trusting Americans to love it or hate it, but still tune in because they want to see what happens next.
Yes. So we'll see. That's a week from today. Next Wednesday night will be the Trump town hall, and I'm sure a lot of sound that we'll get from that, and we'll be playing it on the show. All right, that's tails. This is heads. The other story, it goes like this. Dave Hughes, 70 years old, entered the $250 no-limit Texas Hold'em event with a prize pool of up to $17,000. Of the 83 people who entered this poker tournament, 82 of them were women. Dave Hughes was the only one who was not. He did not dress up as a woman. He just is a bald guy with a goatee, entered a women's poker tournament, and won. He was allowed to enter the tournament because Florida has laws that are non-discriminatory. Basically, you can't discriminate against people because of their gender. So he essentially exploited that law. And I want to read a quote here from a Poker Hall of Famer who they interviewed afterwards. She says, quote, "I love ladies-only poker tournaments. I would have no problem with them having a men's only, and I wouldn't enter it as I would not qualify for it." This is Poker Hall of Famer Linda Johnson saying this. "I would have no problem if they had a tournament for 26-year-old motorcycle riding, mohawk, haircut, seniors, and I wouldn't enter it either because I wouldn't qualify." Can we all agree that really any of these things that say, here are the parameters, that we could just accept them as they are? That we don't need to be breaking all of those barriers all the time.
That's just not how it is anymore.
And also, are men better than women at poker?
I don't know what would be like when you talk about athletics, you're talking about physical differences. I don't know what there would be that would give a man an advantage over a woman in poker. I just don't know what it would be.
Still, like, why? Why did he have to do that?
I think it's funny.
I'm kind of glad to hear that, because I do too. The fact that he didn't even try, I don't even know that he was trying to make this a trans issue. I think he just was like, you know what? Florida has discrimination laws, so I can enter this. And then he did. And then he won thousands and thousands of dollars. He won the tournament.
They should give him 70%.
So we're picking out of the two.
So
I love the second story.
Between those two, which one do you think is
the
worse?
first story bad?
Well, the media coverage, the way that they're responding to Trump.
But that's
doing
status
this.
quo. I mean, that's if we woke up and everybody was excited that Trump was going to do a town hall on CNN, I'm not a rapture believer, but I'd be looking for my friends.
Listen for those trumpets.
I'd be like, hey, what's going on here? Let me read up on that.
I'm definitely saying the poker story is worse.
Really? Between the two?
Yeah, I think I'm interested for Trump to go on CNN.
I think, honestly, just
I don't think it's a
honing
bad
in more
thing.
on the fact that there are members of the media on the left who are literally just saying we should not give a platform. This is MSNBC's Mehdi Hassan. This is Angelo Caruso,
Never heard of any of these
head of Media Matters America.
Oh, Media Matters is mad about this?
Media
I'm
Matters.
shocked. I'm so offended.
David Kurtz, head of Talking Points Memo. So these are some media outlets. I mean,
oh, poor baby.
It frustrates me. I'm going to say that story because it frustrates me. That's where we are as a country, that there's like Mehdi Hassan actually has a show on MSNBC. Some of the other ones are kind of fringe, but
right.
It frustrates me that that's where we are, that they're calling for the opposition.
Is it an opinion
party.
show?
I don't know. I think it is. But
See, we don't even know.
But my thing is...
It is an opinion show, but it is a bad opinion.
My thing is like,
That's your
the most un-American thing ever, and there are people that are actively spouting that out.
These people hate America.
They do.
They hate what American
is. And that's why I hate
is.
the story, because I hate that we are at that point in America where there are people out there that hate it so much that they want to fundamentally change it.
See, we're not at that point. We're past that point because the people who hate America are in charge of the White House.
Yes.
So we're not at the point. You can't be at the point. Like if we've just arrived here, then we should do something about it. We may be past the point of no return. They've been able to change the way elections are put into practice through COVID mitigations, changing laws. I'm not talking about cheating. I'm not talking about ballots under tables that come out in the dead of night. I'm talking about the way that we vote has changed. And they've successfully done that. And any Republican who's sitting whining about the way that it is now and not doing something about it simultaneously, you are dead weight. You need to get off the bandwagon because we need to move faster. If you are helping push that bandwagon down the trail to some sort of success, then let's go. The more the merrier. I think the fact that Donald Trump is doing a town hall on CNN is fantastic, and it's an incredibly positive story. And the fact that the leftists in the media are whining about it means the grass is green, the sky is blue, and the sun came up in the east.
Yeah. So you're saying that
I love both of these stories.
You love both of them. Okay.
There is nothing that points out the hypocrisy of what is taking place in this world more than like a guy from a biker gang going and winning a women's poker tournament.
Is really quick though, is the hypocrisy of we want to defend democracy by silencing the other major party's candidate.
They have already silenced it.
Is that not is that lost on a good portion of people though?
No, they've completely silenced Donald Trump. They forbade him to speak in places that are massively public squares, and they didn't even require the other guy to speak. This is very old news.
It just still surprises me. Like it still surprises me even at this moment.
It should definitely anger you, but if we're still surprised by it, then we're going to be behind the eight ball again. I can't wait for that Trump town hall thing. That's going to be fantastic. Quick break. Deroy Murdock when we come back.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
So let's talk about the Diamond Shop and how they are a destination for Mother's Day gifts. Have you purchased yours yet? You've got a little bit of time here. Visit them in Clayton, Missouri, and walk in and see the beautiful things that they have in there. They have all different types of jewelry, and they fit all different kinds of budgets. If you want to spend less than $100, they have something in there beautiful that's going to last forever, that is going to make mom go, wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. This Mother's Day, whether it's for your wife, maybe a mother's first Mother's Day, or maybe it's their 50th, whatever it might be, I want you to give the Diamond Shop an opportunity to earn your business. The most important aspect of the Diamond Shop's business is their reputation. They go above and beyond to make sure every piece that leaves their shop is absolutely perfect. They are going to win you back again and again and again for those purchases that take place in the future, and it starts with your next visit to the Diamond Shop. They have special financing available, 6 months, same as cash. You can become a VIP by signing up online at thediamondshop.net.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898. This year, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary by giving $12,500 of free options on all homes sold through the end of June. And we will also make a donation of $1,898 to the Independence Center for every home sold. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for our current locations and to learn more information about McKelvey Homes. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. A deadly shooting in Midtown Atlanta. I'm Lisa Brady. Police just confirming at least one dead at a medical office, possibly an urgent care center. 3 others at least hospitalized. And there's a manhunt for the suspect. Fox's Charles Watson is near the scene.
We've seen a lot of employees who are wearing scrubs, outfits that you'd normally see folks who work in the medical building out on the street, a lot of them with tears in their eyes. We spoke to one lady out here who says she works in one of these buildings. She says she heard several gunshots go off in the 12 o'clock hour, and on her way out of the building, she actually saw a victim on her back, shot to death.
Atlanta police calling it an active, fluid situation. They have released photos from surveillance cameras of a man believed to be the suspect. Again, 1 killed, at least 3 hospitalized at a medical building in Atlanta, and the suspect is not in custody. The White House says at this point it cannot confirm what happened in Russia, which is claiming that Ukraine tried to kill its president.
Russia saying there was a drone attack overnight on the Kremlin, calling it an assassination attempt on Russian President Vladimir Putin, that Ukraine was responsible and that it reserves the right to respond. Video of this symbol of Russian power being targeted by 2 drones, including an explosion, flames, and debris, went viral on social media. Ukraine denies it had anything to do with it, saying it was an excuse for Russia to escalate its war on the country.
Fox's Greg Palcott, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre, just telling reporters Russia has a history of false flag operations, but declining to speculate on today's claim. A Fox News alert from the Fed. The central bank just hiking interest rates again, another 1/4 point increase, which had been widely expected as part of the effort, now more than a year long, to fight inflation. America is listening to Fox News.
Is your prostate secretly being destroyed without you knowing it? All the ads for these prostate pills like Super Beta Prostate, Saw Palmetto, ProstaStream, Prostagenics, and others. Want to know which pills work and which are garbage? Now you can. Get a free copy of the new guide, Prostate Secrets, that pulls back the curtain on the prostate pill industry. Learn what is really in these pills. Which pill has over 987 adverse event reports filed against it with the FDA? It's shocking. Learn the one food to avoid that is a prostate killer, and discover the 3 so-called health foods that destroy your prostate. Get your free copy at prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com. This free guide will show you how to end your prostate problems without drugs or surgery, 5 important things to do to protect your prostate, and much more. Warning, this guide is controversial and may be offensive to some readers as it pulls no punches. So go to prostatesecrets.com, prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Not going to bury the lead at all on this Wednesday afternoon. Lighter winds, acceptable winds, lots of sunshine, better temperatures. The northwest flow starting to ease. 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clear and chilly, 43. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower in the afternoon, but a lot of dry time on Thursday. 72. There will be showers around Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Thomas Helbing and the Retirement Advisory Group have yet another Protecting Your Retirement educational event scheduled for Tuesday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Get your spot reserved. Bring your husband, your wife, your significant other, bring a friend, a sibling maybe, and get yourself on the path to a worry-free retirement. When you get into your late 50s and your early 60s, the game changes. And right now, the economy is kind of wacko. You want to make sure that you are secure and comfortable and confident and worry-free moving into your retirement. This event, as I said, was 6:30 p.m. on May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton, and I'm going to be there, and so are Mark Cox and Mark Reardon. We get there at about 6 o'clock, and we shake as many hands as we can until 6:30, and you get to sit down at a nice table, have a snack, have a drink. It's all free, and listen to about 45 minutes of Thomas Helbig explaining how the Retirement Advisory Group can help you. Costs you nothing, and it's a great opportunity for me, at least, to meet you. I hope you reserve your spot today. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you clearly have a refined palate. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to yourEyeDoc.com today. That's yourEyeDoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, first, one of the great benefits of this job is that I don't do politics and don't engage in it. But with regard to that letter, I didn't wasn't my idea. Didn't ask for it. Didn't solicit it. And I think the testimony that the former Deputy Director of the CIA, Mike Morell, put forward confirms that.
Do you accept that the laptop is not Russian disinformation?
Again, from my perspective, I'm not engaging in politics. I've got a lot on my agenda, things that we've just talked about, trying to help the Ukrainians in the Russian aggression against them, engaging with allies and partners around the world, and dealing with some of the challenges posed by China. We have a situation now in Sudan that's fully occupied my time, so that's where my focus is.
Always remember that the Annan answer is a very, very loud answer. Secretary of State Antony Blinken there really punting on the question of Hunter Biden and his involvement in Hunter Biden's life and his business dealings. Isn't it interesting how we still, because we haven't had a definitive message that is across any party line, any media line, that the question of the accuracy and reality of the Hunter Biden laptop still kind of just out there for people on a partisan line to weigh in on. Isn't that amazing? Compare notes to the entire Trump administration and all of the lies that were told about Donald Trump that people still believe and are disillusioned by who they think Donald Trump is or what they think he's guilty of. And yet he hasn't been convicted of any of those things. Talk about big lies. Well, Deroy Murdock is here to talk about another big lie here. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. He's a Fox News contributor and a weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show. Deroy, welcome back. We always appreciate our opportunity to speak with you.
Annie, it's great to be with you again.
So we've heard a lot about the Trump big lies. The capital B, capital L big lie is a frequent topic of conversation on a lot of the left-leaning media outlets. You're here to say that maybe the Democrats have a big lie of their own.
They sure do, and this has come out just in the last week or so, thanks to the testimony of Michael Morell, who was the acting CIA director back under Obama, I believe it was, and he spoke with the House Judiciary and Oversight, or Intelligence Committees, rather, and basically what he said is that he was on the phone during the 2020 campaign with Antony Blinken, who was not Secretary of State. He is now. He was with the Biden campaign. And he called in response to this story in the New York Post about the so-called laptop from hell, Hunter Biden's laptop, which had all this information about these unusual financial deals and all this essentially influence peddling on the part of Hunter Biden. And Morell sprung into action. He got 50 other high-level former intelligence officers to sign a statement 2 days later saying that the so-called laptop from hell was not genuine, that it was fake, it was a Russian, all the signs were it was part of a Russian disinformation operation. And Joe Biden used that statement at a debate with President Trump to say, look, you know, your comments about Hunter Biden's laptop were all a bunch of garbage. These former CIA and other intelligence officers have said this is Russian disinformation. The media then took that basically as a justification not to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop. If you tried discussing it on Twitter, they'd block you. If you tried talking about it on Facebook, they'd deplatform you. And the New York Post for 15 days, oldest newspaper in the country, had its Twitter account suspended, and that became impossible for them to promote that story. And it turns out that a lot of people who didn't see that story once they learned about this after the election said, well, that's not very good. If we'd known about this, we would have voted either for Trump or at least not voted for Biden, maybe voted third party or just skipped the line for president. And if that had happened, Joe Biden would not have the electoral votes needed to get in, and Donald J. Trump would be in the Oval Office right now. This turned out to be completely pivotal and decisive in the 2020 presidential election.
You know, Deroy, on the whole, it seems as though the way Americans are presented with news and information these days is completely laundered before it gets to the microphones, the cameras, and the television screens and speakers that are inside of voters' households, that there is always a preconceived narrative that gets drummed up. And you can often see this with the frequency that even vocabulary is used across the board when these narratives are pushed out to the American people. There was a huge commitment to the idea of, Russia collusion. We heard that over and over and over again with no result. And it really did. To this day, you see Donald Trump running for re-election again. There are still people who believe that he's in Vladimir Putin's pocket or vice versa. How is this big lie going to be exposed in a climate where people are still believing those lies about Donald Trump?
Well, that's a good question. That's hard to do. I think what will help is having the GOP control the House of Representatives
people like Jim Jordan, who runs the Judiciary Committee, Congressman Comer, who runs the Oversight Committee, they can bring in people like Morrell, people like Antony Blinken. Antony Blinken has to be brought in to public hearings, put under oath, and ask questions. Did you talk to Morrell? What was your role in this? Why did you do this? Why did you launch this big lie to undermine Donald J. Trump? Another aspect of it that people don't talk about it too much is if you're sitting in the Kremlin and you're Vladimir Putin or one of his high-level advisors, and you hear people around Biden saying, "Oh, this laptop was cooked up by the Russians, and Hunter Biden is, a totally innocent guy. The Russians are trying to frame him, essentially." Boy, that's not very good for U.S.-Russian relations, now, is it? And so, if you've got basically, you're looking at Blinken and Biden and thinking these guys are essentially defaming the Russians and saying the Russians would interfere in our elections and come up with this fake laptop. That doesn't bode well from the standpoint of having an honest, open, and candid relationship with a country. If you see the very top levels of American diplomacy as people are engaging in open lies and besmirching, to the degree you can besmirch, the Kremlin for being involved in something that it didn't do.
Yeah. I struggle with when looking at President Trump. I mean, it's just very interesting to think of the scandals and the cloud around Donald Trump, because it's been intentionally placed there, and the scandals in the cloud that are around Joe Biden, and it's just easily dismissed as, oh, this is just political. These are just political hit jobs. And I mean, it's kind of that gaslighting thing that makes people who are paying attention to the whole of it bang their head into the wall and wonder, like, how do we even grow out of this and get back to the point where we just care about what really happened, care about truth, because in the meantime, the country is on fire.
The country's a total mess, absolutely, and so is our foreign policy. And look, I think all you can do is people like us repeat this stuff, tell people the truth, tell people facts they may not hear elsewhere. Again, holding hearings on Capitol Hill to the degree that the U.S. House gets the power of the purse back, which was taken away by Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer. We can discuss that another time, and I think we already have. They ought to be able to say to the State Department and the CIA and the rest, look, you don't get any money until you guys fess up and turn over all the documents. Until then, your budget's frozen. Good luck with your bonuses and your, lovely vehicles and jets, et cetera, et cetera. You hand those documents over, then we'll think about cutting a check so you guys can keep the lights on.
I was listening to, I think it was a Lawrence Jones point, and I might have the sound here from yesterday, but Lawrence Jones was talking about how Republicans have a really great message, but Republicans tend to really struggle with the messenger. And it seems as though what is good about the Republican Party and maybe what is bad about the Democratic Party in the eyes of those people who are pushing these more conservative policies, that we wash, rinse, repeat many times the same methods election to election, and they don't cut through because these scandalous stories of both the frontrunners and each of the parties just overtake any interest in, like, what is a debt ceiling? Why are we spending more money than we actually have? Oh, we have two choices, cut things or raise taxes. These are things that really do affect young people, who affect minorities who may not have previously be interested in the Republican Party. How does the Republican Party change that status quo of trying to do what we did before and having it not work?
Well, I guess maybe I'll try to answer in terms of legislative strategy. Number one, and this really applies to everything, we're too nice. We're too polite. We want to engage in basically, kind of badminton matches while the other side's coming after us with machetes. And so we need to face fact on that. The second thing is there needs to be a lot more smart coordination. For example, it's a little bit too complicated to get into very much right now, but there's an excellent bill in the Senate called the Full Faith and Credit Act, which basically says that whenever the Treasury gets money, it's got to pay off the bondholders first, which means you're not going to default. Great idea. Rick Scott of Florida is pushing it. There are no House co-sponsors. How is that possible? Yeah. Why didn't this senator from Florida call up Byron Donalds of Florida or Michael Waltz or Matt Gaetz and say, look, would you co-sponsor this in the House? It could have gotten out of the House. It would be part of that bill that was sent over to the Senate when the House passed its deficit reduction measure and all that. And this would be something voted on by the Senate. For some reason, the House and Senate Republicans so often don't coordinate things, which is just insane. They ought to sit down in a room, once a week and figure out, all right, here's what we're doing. How can you make it mesh with what we're doing?
And they should do the same with their messages and their communications. This goes back a ways. But I remember when Gingrich was Speaker, he was in the middle of some important news conference unveiling something, and then the Senate Majority Leader gets up and he starts doing something else, which knocked. I remember literally watching the window on the TV TV set. Two boxes next to each other. Yeah. Next to each other. The box of Gingrich just shrank, just completely shriveled away. So these guys have got to figure out some way to say, all right, you do your thing at 1 p.m. We'll do our thing at 2 o'clock, and we'll both get coverage rather than we'll both do them at 1 o'clock, and we cannibalize our coverage. So intelligent coordination between different wings of the legislature and different parts of the party, I think would help a lot. I don't get the sense a lot of this stuff is coordinated versus on the left, they march in lockstep like North Korean soldiers.
We appreciate you, Deroy. Thank you for being with us, and I encourage people to find you in all the different places that you contribute to. You do such a good job wording things in a way that other people out there aren't. We appreciate you, Deroy.
Thank you very much, Annie. Take care now.
You as well. Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock is a nationally syndicated columnist. He's a Fox News contributor. Weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show. We're going to take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show when we come back. Have you voted in today's YouTube live chat poll? You go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live there as we do each day. And in the live chat portion where you're always invited to join the conversation, how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Go give us your vote and your comment. Back in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
The Illinois Family Institute is online at illinoisfamily.org, and you can sign up for IFI email alerts and commentaries and take action and learn about the issue of the day, whatever that issue might be. You're going to look in there and you're going to see some things that really, really hit center of where your heart is and where you want to see advocacy place. Some of the things may not be your cup of tea, but you go and you check it out yourself. And when you get those newsletter alerts, you're going to be in tune with things that are taking place in Springfield, Illinois, that you're not going to hear from very many other places. There is not a lot of advocacy out there for people who are pro-life, pro-family, pro-religious liberty, small government policy advocates, but the Illinois Family Institute is, and they're putting out the information for you to receive on a regular basis, a daily basis. Sign up for those email alerts and commentaries at illinoisfamily.org. Their mission is to boldly bring biblical perspectives to public policy. You should have representation, and the Illinois Family Institute might be exactly what you're looking for. Find them online at illinoisfamily.org.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you.
My feet would just ache, my back, my ankles. I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Good Feet arch supports fit in all your own shoes. Come to the Good Feet store for a free test walk today. You can try it before you buy it.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Hey, guess what's now seeping into our therapy sessions? Critical race theory. Amber Athey from The Spectator joins me to talk about it Wednesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Plotted out in black and white. Well, I never lived the dream of the prom kings and the drama queens. I'd like to think the best of me is still hiding up my sleeve. They love to tell you, stay inside the lines, but something's better on the other side. I wanna
This was a song that came out my senior year of high school as John Mayer, and I was sitting in economics class, and we had an insurance guy. I think maybe he was a financial advisor. I think he was with Edward Jones or something. I can't remember. But he was like, I went to a Lutheran high school. He was a member of one of the local Lutheran schools, and he came in and he just kind of gave you that guest speaker presentation that you pay way more attention to than your teacher. God bless you, teachers. But everybody is interested in a guest speaker, right? It's kind of a hostage situation when you're in the same classroom with the same kids every day. I'm certain that those teachers often would like to have guest students. Mm-hmm. Like, get rid of the kids that you have every day just for one refreshing hour, and then get back to the rudimentary routine that is however many days. How many days in class? You know what the requirement is? Like 180 or something?
Yeah. Is it? I have a 162 stuck in my head, but that's baseball.
Yeah, same thing. But it's usually based on hours.
Yeah.
How long's your school day? So on and so forth. But he played this song. I remember he put it on a CD player, and I'd never heard of John Mayer before. And I just really liked the song and have become a huge John Mayer fan ever since. I remember taking economics. I'm trying to think of stuff that we learned in there. I remember trying to learn about compound interest, and it seemed like it was harder to learn about in economics than math. I was a good math student. But like balancing checkbooks and everything. Do you balance your checkbook? You don't do any of that stuff.
Well, we don't have to anymore.
Why?
We do. Well, we don't really carry a checkbook anymore. So we, and you do it all online. It just almost takes care of it for you.
There are people who balance their checkbook who are going, Brad, no! Just because you don't balance a checkbook, and I'm here to say I don't balance a checkbook. Mm-hmm. There are things that on the old online banking system, you can get charged for things that you don't know you're being charged for. It can be wrong, blah, blah, blah.
No, we check up on all that stuff. But like the old fashions, like, all right, I had this much money and I wrote these many checks and this and that, and then making sure it's all there.
There's also people who, if you do if you balance your checkbook, you don't even have to write checks. It doesn't have to involve checks. It's just every time you swipe your debit card. My gosh.
I used to carry a debit card, little checkbook, debit card balancer thing with me.
I've never even heard of that.
It was like a little. Well, I kept getting in trouble, and I talked to my bank about it because I was like, I thought I had this.
Who'd you get in trouble with?
My bank.
Okay. Why?
Because I was overdrafting.
Oh.
And I was 18. It's just young.
Sure.
It's just not.
So
So
you
it's
get a
not
paycheck
like.
of $50.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, is there I know with a checkbook, but I can't carry a checkbook. They're like, oh, we got these little booklets and they fit in your wallet and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sweet, give me one. And I was fine from there on out because I would write it down every time I would use it.
Yeah. I hate checkbooks, man. That to me, I wonder if there are any Gen Z people who have a checkbook. I wonder if they even have checks.
You can, are Gen Z people or
Yeah.
just in general? Oh, yeah. I was going to say you can still get checks.
Well, of course you can. But I wonder if they have them because you can send checks from your bank account. You don't even have to ever see the check, which is what I do. If I have to send a check to somebody, I just send it from, I pay my bills on my bank account. It's become much more automated. And I'm okay with that. And I get it. I know that there can be mistakes that are made. But you think I'm not going to make mistakes? You think I'm not going to screw something up? Especially if you have a joint account. All of my accounts are joint with my husband. So it's okay that it's automated. And I guess it's the price I have to pay if the bank makes a mistake. Shouldn't say that out loud, but I guess that's the way it is. We've got a YouTube live chat poll today. How successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Do you expect them to win Congress? They have the House right now, so do you expect them to win the Senate as well? Win the presidency and Congress, or to lose control in the House? I think the only thing I didn't fit in there is just to stay exactly the way it is right now. So, Brad, when you're looking 552 days down the line, and plus however many days it takes to decide the stupid election.
Yeah.
Do you have a gut feeling right now on where this is headed?
Yeah. I think that the GOP is going to win the presidency, and I think that they're going to win Congress as well. Now, I don't know that they are going to have both houses of Congress, but I think that they're going to, at the very least, expand their majority in the House.
So you would say win presidency, because win Congress means have
win
the
them
House,
both.
win the Senate.
Okay. No, I think they have a better than not chance of winning the Senate.
The Senate is the most favorable map that it could possibly be for Republicans.
And that's why I feel that way.
That's where I am. I think we win Congress. I think we hold the House and expand the House a little bit. And I think that we win Congress. I'm not convinced that we're going to win the presidency. There are so many things that could happen between now and then with the candidates. Joe Biden is an old man. He is an unhealthy old man. Is that shocking to say that he's an unhealthy old man? Who out there disagrees with that other than Senator Coons?
Joe Biden himself.
Joe Biden. Senator Coons was on with Brett Baier a couple days ago. Maybe does Brett Baier do a Sunday thing? I don't think he does. Must have been Monday. And he was talking about how I think did he use the word vibrant for Joe Biden? And I remember watching him going, "Oh man, you don't believe that? You're a smart man. You might say that Donald Trump is what threat to democracy or whatever the phrase was the last time. That you might believe that Donald Trump getting back into the Oval Office would be a disaster for the country, Senator Coons. That might be what you think, but knock it off. Don't tell me. I want to know if the specific word was vibrant. He was talking about how he was so sharp, that Joe Biden was so sharp. And I'm sitting here saying that is not true. And if you're trying to tell me that outside of the public eye, away from the cameras and speakers and stages and platforms, that Joe Biden does appear to be very, very sharp, but he chooses the most public times to be the way he is to our faces, switch that around and start, putting your best foot forward out in public so that we can have some confidence in the man who is behind the wheel. If it is Joe Biden who's behind the wheel. I mean, call it what it is. There are going to be a lot of people, if it's Biden-Trump, there are going to be a lot of people who vote for Donald Trump because they can't stand Joe Biden. Not because they like Donald Trump.
That's true.
There are going to be people who vote for Joe Biden because they can't stand Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people who are voting against somebody rather than for somebody. If you put in a Newsom DeSantis ticket, I think that the narrative and conversation changes. I think it'll still be really nasty.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's going to be all positivity and puppies and sunshine if you have two new, younger, fresh candidates. It might actually be even worse.
I think so. And I think that fight takes on a more of the Florida way versus the California way. I think that's how that, like, both candidates will tout how great their states are.
That's one of those instances where it truly does feel like gaslighting, because I sit here and think, how could you possibly have someone, how could you say to somebody, do you want to live like Californians or do you want to live like Floridians? And people go, California. I don't think that people, there's such a stark difference.
Mm-hmm.
There is such a dramatic difference. And I'm thinking about the freedom things, like what kind of stove you get to cook on, what kind of car you get to drive, how much of your tax dollars you get to keep for the tax dollars that you spend, what expectations can you have? And if you're on the left, you're thinking about, well, in Florida, you're not even allowed to say the word gay. And it's not true. That's actually not true. In fact, in Florida, you can be a man who wins a poker tournament that's an all-women's poker tournament, and that is allowed.
Yeah.
How do we expect the presentation of a Trump-Biden Part 2 to have anything to do with us as the American people?
That is my biggest thing. Like, I don't see how that election is about anything other than Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
And if Donald Trump were able to make it about us, and he is 100% capable of doing that, if he were to make that choice, he doesn't have to deny who he has been. But he does have to let go of some things. And I think we've seen some of that lately. It seems as though he's talking less about 2020 specifically. But when he gets on those rally stages and he talks for 90 minutes, which is, speaking of vibrant.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to two of them. I've been to two Trump events. One of them was at Granite City Steel. One of them was in Mendon, Illinois. Did I say that right? I think I did. And he spoke up until the sky opened up. We were running to our car, trying to get to our car. We bailed, and we were trying to get to our car before the rain just started to come down in sheets. And we were 20 yards from the car.
Yeah.
So like, oh, it was so close. And then we had to sit in the car together for 2 hours. It was lovely. Donald, this is the thing about this campaign. When I feel like I can't predict it, it's because for Joe Biden, I don't know that the upside is high. His upside is he's the incumbent. The incumbency carries with it an enormous amount of pomp and circumstance. Remember what Donald Trump did at the White House? What was that event he had at the White House? It was really spectacular. Was it a July 4th event or something? I don't remember. Flags everywhere and orchestra and all the things. You get to do that when you live there.
Yeah.
You get to do big things that get attention. Joe Biden has that at his fingertips. I don't know that he can hang in there to make that the spectacle, other than to be present and observed.
Right.
He's not going to go up there and deliver. Good grief. That was another thing that Senator Coons said. In order to articulate the vibrancy of Joe Biden, he was talking about how impressed he was at the State of the Union speech. And he went back to January. And this was within the last week that Senator Coons was talking about this with Brett Baer. He went back to January to say, I was so impressed with his delivery. And I sat there and I thought for a second, we're not talking at all about what Joe Biden is doing for the country, what is happening in the country. We are slow clapping that Joe Biden could complete an hour and 15-minute speech coherently.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! President of the United States. Weird. This is very similar to the accomplishments that we champion for my 2-year-old daughter when she looks at us and is proud of herself, and we all just immediately erupt in cheers for her. She'll pick up one of the controllers from the Nintendo Switch because, like, on a weekend when we don't have anything to do, which I feel has not happened in 2 years, we will play Mario Party. I've talked about that. So we all have these controllers. So she knows that everybody will have a controller. Like, she'll just walk around the room and she'll see one and she'll pick one up. And then she just, like, shakes it really hard. And then she turns and looks at all of us. And we all just, like seals are like, yay, Molly! And then she smiles and she shakes the controller around again and looks at us. And we all just cheer again. And we're doing the same thing for the president because he completed a speech in January. Seems troublesome to me. It seems like we should elevate our expectations for that. And I want the president, Donald Trump, the former president, Donald Trump, I want to be able to comfortably elevate my expectations for him and remind him as if he needs the reminder. I do believe that he's in this fight for the American people, but he needs to make sure that he articulates himself in a way that tells the American people who are looking at a presidency and Joe Biden saying, this is not going well. You can't tell me that my part in your green energy program is to have to pay astronomically more for basically everything that I consume. And what am I getting for it? Delusional green energy initiatives that at the end are going to be a drop in the bucket compared to what China is not willing to do to comply. And in the meantime, they're growing and growing and growing. What are we doing with our time and with ourselves? I do strongly believe that after a Republican primary that Donald Trump can and will pivot into a very us-centered mentality where it's about you and your ability to get baby formula and your ability to, keep the money that you make. If you're an honest, hardworking American, that is something to be celebrated, that we want to be able to provide opportunity for everybody who exists in this country, who comes here, who lives here, who produces here, and respects our laws in the process. And then if you don't respect our laws, that those laws are in place for a reason, and we will prosecute people who don't respect our laws, that the idea of good and law-abiding can be celebrated, and the idea of being a criminal can be put exactly where it needs to be, where criminals go, or treated the way criminals should be treated. We need to get back to that message. And I do believe Donald Trump can very successfully make that pivot, probably after the primary, because in the primary, everyone's going to be saying, for the most part, the same thing. But I'm asking myself right now, if he doesn't make that pivot, would I be surprised? And I'm not as aggressive on that answer as I'd like to be able to be. And if we're talking about President Trump running for re-election right now, when his strongest contender isn't even in the race yet, maybe talk a little bit more about the American people. I'm asking Donald Trump to do something that is antithetical to the thing that got him there in the first place. But I'm a voter and I count. I'm a suburban woman, mom. I'm supposed to count on polling and in paper even more. Donald Trump's got my vote if he's the nominee. Joe Biden will destroy this country even further than it already has. But my vote isn't going to be enough. They're going to have to persuade people who don't believe so deeply in the policies because they don't know the policies. They're going to have to hear the policies and be persuaded by them. I hope that that's part of the plan. The YouTube live chat poll, how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Win Congress, win the presidency, win both the presidency and Congress, or lose House control, which they currently have right now. Go give us your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Take a seat, take your life, plot it out in black and white. Well, I never lived the dream of the prime kings and the drama queens. I'd like to think the best of me is still hiding up my sleeve.
Michael's Flooring Outlet has locations across St. Louis. 3 decades in business as a family-owned and operated flooring destination for you? Are you thinking about purchasing some flooring here in the future? Be it for your residence or your commercial business, you can go to Michael's Flooring Outlet and count on a few things. First of all, that the products you're going to invest your money in, it's going to be quality products. They have the Revwood Select and Plus line, the lifetime all pet warranty on the Revwood Plus. That's pretty fantastic. Wet Protect waterproof wood and is steam cleanable. This is very important if you've got pets running around your house or little sloppy kids. That's both the situation in my house. You want to be able to clean up behind them and not lose the integrity of the flooring that is in your home. You can count on that quality when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. But they also have great value. When you look at other places and compare prices, you're going to be very glad that you made the stop at Michael's Flooring Outlet and gave them the chance to win your business. And they do that with pairing the quality and the value with the best customer service in the business. If you're looking for flooring for your home, for your business, for your church, I want you to give Michael's Flooring Outlet a chance to earn that business. And I think you'll be very glad you did. 3 locations in St. Louis, online right now at igotfloored.com.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $7,500 on a new hybrid HVAC system and save an additional 20% when bundled with attic insulation. This is a limited time offer. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight. Wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder. Thunder, 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 thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder.
I also think that I was very struck when Mark Halperin in his Wide World of News ran the video of Michelle Obama on stage with Bruce Springsteen. She's playing a tambourine. She recently had 9,000 people at an event with Oprah in Los Angeles. I think Republicans had better pay significant attention to Michelle Obama. I hadn't believed that until I saw her on stage with Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. I thought, this is not a person who's hiding. So it's conceivable that Susan Rice and others are beginning to say they're not going to be part of some kamikaze re-election campaign with a guy who can't remember what he did yesterday.
Kamikaze. That's an interesting way of saying that, Newt Gingrich. Brad, you've been here. Who have I been saying?
Michelle Obama.
I've been saying. Game changer across the board. I'm still not 100% sure that Joe Biden's going to be the guy.
I'm not either. I said that way back. We've been asking this question for a long time.
Yeah.
And 80's old. Like, and I don't want to.
He's an old 80.
He's an old 80, and he's in a position that's incredibly stressful and incredibly aging on people. I mean, that's something that we always talk about whenever you look at presidents, like, oh, this is them on their first day of office, and this is them when they leave, and they look like they've aged 40 years in that amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he's going to be able to hang.
Michelle Obama. Mark my words.
Ick.
Everybody always says, no, Annie. And I always hear them saying, God, no.
yeah.
It's not me. I'm not asking Michelle Obama to run. Let me not get you confused as to my interest in Michelle Obama running for the presidency. I just think she'd be a shoo-in. Eek.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think DeSantis would beat her? I think he could.
I think he could.
I think Tim Scott could beat her?
I think Tim Scott could beat her. I think Nikki Haley could beat her.
I don't know.
But I definitely think Tim Scott going up there, it takes a lot of...
I love Tim Scott.
Takes a lot of her push away, but I think that there's just an extreme likability about her. Of course, I don't know what she would be like if she were on the campaign trail. Would she be able to be likable for that long of a time?
Incredible. To the people who matter.
Well,
this is a very, very much so an opportunity to think about who shows up and votes for elections. Do you think that there is a large portion of this country who would like to see a black woman be the president of the United States?
For the sake of a black person, woman?
In this climate, I think that if you have the right person, as it is with anybody, to go there, like Kamala Harris, when you have Joe Biden saying, I will choose a woman of color to be my vice presidential candidate, that paired with Kamala Harris was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kamala Harris is not good.
Right.
Has nothing to do with her gender or the color of her skin. She's just not good at the job. We could talk about Winsome Sears.
Mm-hmm.
She got my vote.
Yeah.
Let's go. You could talk about Tim Scott. He's a man, but he's black. And I think his campaign phrase was like, from the fields to Congress or something like that, because I think his dad was a slave in the South or something like that.
Dad, but like a grandfather.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe his dad told him the stories of growing up that way. But I just think there are a lot of success stories where knowing what you can accomplish in America, folks, we didn't invent slavery. We actually killed ourselves over stopping it.
Mm-hmm.
There's slavery still taking place where white people are enslaving white people, black people are enslaving black people, and that is just the way those places work. In this country, we did kill ourselves to stop it. Doesn't mean that we're perfect now, but that is part of history. We have been a dramatic work in progress for centuries, and we are still, comparatively to, any European nation or any African nation or any Asian nation for that matter, we are in our infancy of being a country. And we have come so far and are incredibly progressive in the way that we see each other. We are, like it or not, this used to be a phrase that was pushed into the vernacular when political correctness just started coming out, a celebration of diversity, a melting pot where people come from all over the world to America for a purpose. There's something here that is destination worthy, that is worthy of making it your endpoint and keeping it your endpoint. There's something about what we have here that other places don't, that people seek out. Italy is not a melting pot. Italy loves Italians. Mm-hmm. They should. They're historic. They're generational culture is to be celebrated. Germans, same. Lots of history there. You can go all England. Isn't there a coronation or something this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, boring.
Yeah.
Big deal for them, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a big deal for me.
Mm-mm.
Not my king.
Nope.
There will be no king. If you look at the United States of America, what is our history? What is our culture? You ask some people what our history and our culture is, and they just can only think of bad things. Are there good things that are collectively celebrated about being American or about American culture? Are there? You can look at the Civil War and what preceded it and talk about how terrible of a nation that we were. Slavery was brought to our shores, and we worked to eradicate it, and we decided to kill our own brothers and sisters to do it. That doesn't mean that on the whole it's 100% a good thing. It's complicated. Everything is complicated. Everything's always complicated. But when we have political conversations, you can't allow things to be nuanced or complicated because it's harder to win an argument faster when things have nuance. It has been difficult in this country to look a certain way for a long time. It has been difficult in this country and across the world, I might add, to be female for a long time. But this country keeps moving in the direction of equal opportunity. That gets bastardized into this idea of equal outcome, which is what the Democrat Party is selling right now. The idea that if you elect Democrats, we can provide equity to everybody who is participating in the system. And if you don't like to participate in it, if you don't want to choose to participate in it, that's why you elect Democrats, because they will force the people who have achieved success based on their opportunity that they had to participate in the system of equity. And you do that by, I don't know, say taking somebody's mortgage rate that is good based on the fact that they have a strong credit score and saying there are people who don't have credit scores that are as good as yours. And that seems on the surface level, when you just have names and numbers on paper, to be unfair. Those numbers don't represent your credit score to these people, don't represent anything other inequity. You've got a 760 credit score. Those people over there have a 650 credit score. Bob 750, Tom 650. We should make that equal. We should make sure that the person who has 650 doesn't have less opportunity than the person who has a 750. And then if you're the 750 person, you're going to say, well, wait a second, they did have opportunity. Here's everything I have done, everything I have worked for to achieve this 750 credit score. I should not have to pay a penalty on that to compensate for the things that the 650 credit score didn't do. Maybe the 650 credit score used to be a 550 credit score, and they've worked it all the way up to 650. That's great. Congratulations. You still have work to do to get to the 750. It is not the government's job to come in and equalize that, because they can't. Because the only thing they can equalize is the outcome. They can't equalize anything that has to do before the 750 is achieved. But that's what this Democrat Party, on the whole, the party, I'm not talking about the Democrat who sits at your Thanksgiving dinner table. I'm talking about the party, the people who lead, the people who want to be in charge. What they're saying is 750 and 650 is unfair. We're stepping in and we're going to take over to make sure that equity happens. You want more of that, you vote for Joe Biden. He and all the people who are running this administration are excited to make that possible for you. Now, if you're somebody who has a 650 credit score that you raised 100 points from a 550 credit score, and you want to earn that 750 credit score and everything that comes with it, I'd check myself on voting for Joe Biden and consider an alternative. We'll be back in a minute.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, We use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor. Melinda's is proud to be the official hot sauce of the AT&T Byron Nelson. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. Find them in a grocery store near you at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
So Slim 180 is there to help you lose weight. And everybody who comes in to Slim 180 is going to have a different story. They're going to have gotten there for different reasons. You want to drop the weight, and you need somebody who's going to be effective at helping you drop. This is Slim 180's. This is their strong point. They have multiple programs that are available for you to choose from that are going to help you drop the weight once and for all. They have a nutritional guidance program, which provides one-on-one counseling, individualized attention to you and your specific needs, and they help clients reach their goals through that accountability that so many of us need. They also have the semaglutide, which is the very popular drug right now that a lot of people are using, and you might have heard of it under other names. They have that at Slim 180 under their Regenerate program, and you can get it a much more reasonable price at Slim 180 than you can at a pharmacy. Reach out to them and figure out which plan works for you, and use my name, Annie, to make sure that you save. Go to myslim180.com.
McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898. This year, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary by giving $12,500 of free options on all homes sold through the end of June. And we will also make a donation of $1,898 to the Independence Center for every home sold. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for our current locations and to learn more information about McKelvey Homes. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
Adam, man, your aunt parties are the best. I mean, you always find the best kitchens with all the crumbs.
Thanks, man. I love finding these homes to do this at.
Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Mass shooting in Atlanta. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. One person is dead, at least 4 injured after a man opened fire at a midtown location of Northside Hospital. The injured transported to another hospital.
So we called mass casualty event. Within minutes, we had multiple trauma surgeons, multiple staff in the trauma bay itself.
Grady Health System Dr. Robert Jansen.
The 4 that were brought here, 3 are critical. 1 is still in the emergency department. The others are upstairs being treated. 2 in the operating room, and 1 in what's called interventional radiology.
Police say no additional shots have been fired since the initial incident a few hours ago. They've also released photos believed to be of the shooter with a manhunt underway. Just moments ago, they identified the suspect as 24-year-old Dion Patterson. 2 Republican lawmakers are demanding access to a document believed to claim that then Vice President Biden was involved in a criminal scheme, also involving a foreign national to exchange money for policy decisions. Senator Chuck Grassley and Congressman James Comer, who chairs the Oversight Committee in the House, sending a letter to the FBI Director and Attorney General.
What these 2 Republicans are alleging is that there is a document that exists, and they've gotten that information, they say, from a whistleblower, an unidentified whistleblower, and that the document exists within the Department of Justice and the FBI showing an illegal scheme allegedly involving the vice president, and that they are requesting that information now officially with a subpoena from the FBI and Justice Department.
Fox's Rich Edson, Grassley, and Comer have not seen the document. The subpoena is from Comer, seeking documents only, not testimony from the FBI director. The FBI says it's received the subpoena and the letter, no additional comment. America is listening to Fox News.
Is your prostate secretly being destroyed without you knowing it? All the ads for these prostate pills like Super Beta Prostate, Saw Palmetto, ProstaStream, Prostagenics, and others want to know which pills work and which are garbage? Now you can. Get a free copy of the new guide, Prostate Secrets, that pulls back the curtain on the prostate pill industry. Learn what is really in these pills. Which pill has over 987 adverse event reports filed against it with the FDA? It's shocking. Learn the one food to avoid that is a prostate killer. And discover the 3 so-called health foods that destroy your prostate. Get your free copy at prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com. This free guide will show you how to end your prostate problems without drugs or surgery, 5 important things to do to protect your prostate, and much more. Warning, this guide is controversial and may be offensive to some readers as it pulls no punches. So go to prostatesecrets.com, prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Not going to bury the lead at all on this Wednesday afternoon. Lighter winds, acceptable winds, lots of sunshine, better temperatures. The northwest flow starting to ease. 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clear and chilly, 43. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower in the afternoon, but a lot of dry time on Thursday. 72. There will be showers around Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for their next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire? Or do you worry about surviving the next market crash? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free and protect your nest egg from many more losses and provide more income than most investment options? Would you like to know how linking to the market instead of owning the market is so much safer for your retirement savings? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com. If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
You always hear me talking about sleeping better, but you can do that yourself. Don't just listen to me talk about it. I use one. It's called a sleep medicine retainer, but I always take the word medicine out because there literally is no medicine in it. Go to fountainfamilydentistry.com and read about everything that you've heard me talking about, but in a little bit more detail if you want to see the symptoms that you may be having: irritability, loud, persistent snoring. Those are 2, just tiredness during the day. This can fix that. If you've got sleep apnea, it will fix the problem for you immediately. And with no CPAP, no nothing, you don't have to lug that around if you go traveling like we're about to. You just take this little thing with you and you are going to sleep like a baby. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Fountainfamilydentistry.com, again, is their website. You will see the tab there. It says Sleep Medicine. You can also make an appointment right there online by clicking Contact Us and scheduling that out as far or as close as you want to. It's right there, all convenient for you. Fountainfamilydentistry.com.
Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to award-winning, thought-provoking talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
On the air for over 20 years.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me?
sweetheart. Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Clear your throat. Ew. Sound like
that was less of a
sound like
that was more of a hairball.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. Are you good? That's the question. It's 2 o'clock hour. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. You really seemed like you were struggling right before the mic came on.
Well, I'm eating a Slim 180 snack bar.
Got caught in the pipe?
Just a little something in my throat.
Yeah?
Went to drink my water.
Oh, no water.
It's empty.
Here, you want some of this?
I don't.
You know?
No.
Yep. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Brad was offering for you to do the Heimlich on me.
Yeah, and you declined.
Yeah, graciously declined. Oh, no, thank you.
I'm good.
Just so you know, I will, if you need it, I will walk in and offer that to anybody every day from now on, just so you guys know.
The Heimlich?
That I care about you guys. Yeah. I'll walk in the 2 o'clock hour. I'll just say, anybody need the Heimlich? Every day.
That is how you get to meet whoever our HR person is.
Yeah.
I'm torn. There are two incredibly different ways to go. I'm going to take the serious route first.
You take the road less traveled.
Because today is the 1 week anniversary of something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you're going to go serious first.
So instead, I'm going to read a letter from two congressmen on the air.
Please.
It's not about that, though.
It's not about...
Wouldn't it be something? I haven't read the whole thing. Wouldn't it be something if, like, the third paragraph was about, do you know about Poopgate? St. Louis?
What you're saying, though, is that you assume there's nothing fecal in this at all.
Smells bad to me.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much. This is to the Honorable Merrick Garland, Attorney General. Woo! Not Supreme Court Justice. What a dodge there. And the Honorable Christopher Wray, Director of the FBI.
Two peas in a pod.
I will tell you that this is signed by two senators, Grassley and Comer. Dear Attorney General Garland and Director Wray, we have received legally protected and highly credible unclassified whistleblower disclosures. Based on those disclosures, it has come to our attention that the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation possess an unclassified FD 1023. Uh-oh, not a 1023.
Oh, no.
It's a 1023.
A 1023?
It's better than a 2319. Form that describes an alleged criminal scheme involving then Vice President Biden and a foreign national relating to the exchange of money for policy decisions.
Really?
Serious, right?
Yeah.
Poopgate was serious too, but not like this.
Not like this.
It has been alleged that the document includes a precise description of how the alleged criminal scheme was employed as well as its purpose. Based on the alleged specificity, great word, within the document, it would appear that the DOJ and the FBI have enough information to determine the truth and accuracy of the information contained within it. However, it remains unclear what steps, if any, were taken to investigate the matter. The significant public interest in assessing the FBI's response to this information, as well as growing concern about the DOJ and the FBI's track record of allowing political bias to infect their decision-making process, necessitate exacting congressional oversight. The DOJ and the FBI appear to have valuable, verifiable information that you have failed to disclose to the American people. Therefore, Congress will proceed to conduct an independent and objective review of this matter, free from those agencies' influence. Transparency brings accountability. Chuck Grassley, James Comer. The tweet that the GOP Oversight Committee put out, James Comer and Chuck Grassley revealed the existence of an FBI record alleging then VP Biden engaged in a bribery scheme with a foreign national. According to a whistleblower, this record details an alleged arrangement, there'll be an arraignment later, involving an exchange of money for policy decisions. Seems beefy. And crappy.
Unfortunately, it's only beefy if it gets attention. So it needs to be highlighted and brought to the forefront over and over and over by these guys.
Followed up by that is the document that includes the subpoena for Director Wray. So
they are.
It's one of the great frustrations of doing what I do, which is to highlight things like this. Is the obvious conclusion here, one way or the other, that you want to know if this is in fact true?
I would hope so.
If it's proven true, let's scratch this. Let's go back to the beginning. If you were to find out that Donald Trump was working in cahoots with Vladimir Putin to win the election and had, exchanged some favors for Russia, if he were to get elected to become the president, would you want to know that?
Yeah, I want to know everything.
Would you want to know that if it involved him potentially being impeached?
If that was a fact in the impeachment?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because he was accused of it in impeachment and impeached and not convicted in the Senate, but they never got to the details. The entire process of Adam Schiff presenting information that he constantly was telling the American people, essentially, if you've seen what I've seen, there's more coming. It's all a ruse. They just wanted to win the next election. And because they were so successful so early from a paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign smear, because they laid this down so early, it's just been believable.
And when you get to this level of crying wolf, what they say that stuff over and over and over, and they clearly didn't know they either didn't know what they were talking about, or they knew that they were just lying and they had a compliant media that was going to carry it for them. Then real stuff starts to come out and nobody pays attention to it because everybody says, well, we've been down this road before.
Well, they say when you say these things about Joe Biden, I mean, when I hear this, in my mind, the first visceral thing that happens to me is like, see, we've been saying. But that's the same thing that people on the on the Democrat side of the aisle felt every time something was put out there into the conversation to discuss about Donald Trump. If this materializes to nothing, if it's untrue, that should matter. Mm-hmm. And having a joint committee investigating this and subpoenaing the director of the FBI, because the question here is not just, this is bigger than Joe Biden as the vice president participating in their words, bribery scheme with a foreign national for policy influence. Mm-hmm. It's bigger than that. What this is alleging is that our bureaucratic departments who are supposed to stop this from happening knew about it and didn't do a damn thing. That is bigger than one man or one corrupt family. If Donald Trump had done this and they found out that the FBI or Jeff Sessions somehow or another covered it up, oh my gosh, the hysteria.
Oh, yeah. It's all you'd hear about.
And if it were true, it'd be all you should hear about, because at the end of all of these stories sits the American people. And the idea that the American people aren't at the epicenter of it. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden. But it should matter that every time the FBI or these law and order outfits of the bureaucracy out of Washington, D.C., every time they overlook something, it benefits the same people. And every time they overlook something, it hurts the same people. Every freaking time. So if you're an American citizen and you're observing this and you're going, well, those are two Republicans and they hate Joe Biden and they want to get him, and Hunter Biden, well, he's not even in office. What does Hunter Biden have to do with anything in my life? It has everything to do with it. Everything. Good grief. If you were to find an opportunity to charge a Trump with a gun crime, would they pass on that opportunity to charge a Trump with a gun crime?
No chance.
Because Hunter Biden is a friggin' liar on his document to gain access, the document, the things that are put in place to keep guns out of bad people's hands. There are laws in place. Hunter Biden, who is a druggie, still got a gun in his hand. How is that possible? That goes against every argument for more regulation. We need more government intervention to keep bad people and druggies and criminals from getting guns in their hands. We're going to take care of the criminals and make sure that we rehabilitate them, but bad guns. Hunter Biden still had one because he lied on the stupid form, and nobody freaking cares. Because he's Hunter Biden. If that were a Trump, we all know that the story would be different. I do believe that CNN putting Donald Trump on. I mean, you're not going to out-Trump Trump next week. Donald Trump is going to be there. It's going to be the highest rated evening that CNN has had probably.
Yeah, in ages.
Who knows how long? I mean, if they were smart, they'd do it in the 7 o'clock hour. Is that when they're doing it?
I think so. I mean, it's prime time. I don't know exactly what time, but
it's probably from 7 to 9, or maybe from 8 to 10. But if CNN is now saying Donald Trump, come sit down here, I can't wait to see what that looks like, because that is out of the ordinary for something like that to happen. And we should lean into that. I'm interested to see what CNN does next. They have made some massive moves here in the last year. Poor Don Lemon. Nobody's talking about him. We have people in our YouTube live chat today begging us to talk about Tucker Carlson, and they hate Tucker Carlson. Imagine being that powerful. Imagine being Tucker Carlson and so powerful that you're driving golf carts around your massive estate in Florida right now, having a day, and there are people in YouTube chat rooms begging conservative talk radio shows to talk more about Tucker Carlson. Nobody cares about Don Lemon. Nobody remembers Don Lemon. Don Lemon, go bye-bye. He is past his prime. He is out the back door. Everybody still wants to know what Tucker Carlson is doing. CNN is making moves that pull it away from what they used to be. But the question is, just because they are moving away from what they used to be doesn't mean that where they're headed is out of respect of the American people, or just people. It doesn't have to even just be American. But I think they're more primed for that right now than they ever have been in the past. I'm interested to see what they do.
I'm going to make a huge assumption here and say that you being excited about Donald Trump doing a town hall on CNN, you would be completely fine if either CNN or Fox News, for that matter, decided to do a town hall with Joe Biden.
I would love that.
Wouldn't you?
I am more interested in watching Joe Biden do a town hall on Fox News, and I am more interested in Donald Trump doing a CNN and an MSNBC one than I am in watching Joe Biden on CNN or MSNBC. And when he has been on there, I have watched those as well. And they've held Joe Biden's hand through. He'd get asked a question. He wouldn't answer the question. He'd start talking about something else. They'd redirect, and they'd hold his hand. I really believe that if Joe Biden went on Fox News and Brett Baier did that town hall, that Brett Baier would treat him with the utmost respect. Brett Baier would push back if he felt as though the answer was a complete and total dodge. He would rearrange the question and ask it again, but I believe he'd be completely respectful. I am very interested to see how, I mean, if CNN wants people to consider turning on their channel again, and I'm not talking about winning over Republicans, because you didn't lose people who were Republicans. You lost people who valued truth and reporting, specifically at CNN. MSNBC is what MSNBC is. A lot of people think that Fox and MSNBC are mirror opposites. I push back on that because Fox still brings people on who I think the left would look at and say, I think that person represents me in this, that, or the other opinion. I don't know anybody on the Republican side who goes on MSNBC and feels like me. Like my voice is being heard with the constant drumbeat of what the left wants us to consume.
It's valid dissent, not just paperman arguments.
Why is conservative talk radio on the whole so successful? It's not because there are that many more Republicans than Democrats. Democrats listen to conservative talk radio too. We know some of your names. You still listen. For whatever particular reason, there is an interest to you about what the other side is doing. The left has not been able to present in talk radio specifically, and I say this as somebody who, I was a board operator for Air America for like 2 years. I don't even know what the exact time frame was. It felt like a lifetime. Air America was the liberal radio network. I know names like Randy Rhodes, and I think Bill Maher might have been on a little bit. I'm not sure if Bill Maher was. Al Franken was part of it. And I sat there and I board out their show and listened to 6 to 8 hours of Air America programming as my job. And now I'm in therapy for it.
It was show prep for this.
Yeah. It's like, one day I'll have my own show. I am incredibly interested to see if CNN is welcoming Donald Trump and Donald Trump is accepting it. I want to know how CNN treats Donald Trump with the respect that a former president and presidential candidate deserves, And the respect doesn't mean that they don't push back if they feel like Donald Trump is twisting the truth. You can push back. You can rearrange questions. If somebody asks a question and the response is a very politicized answer where it starts with, look, you ask question, blah, 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 and then the responder goes, look, and then they just say something they believe in.
Yes, yeah, or listen, and then whatever.
The real thing here, that's what these are tricks of the trade. And if Donald Trump refuses to answer one of those questions and whoever moderates this wants to push back on them, they absolutely should. Every journalist should understand how to respectfully dissent and push back. And again, on either side of the coin, whether it's somebody who's right, on the right being grilled or on the left being grilled, at some point, one's unwillingness to answer a question is the answer to the question, and you can accept it as such. If they're not willing to provide, A, the answer that you want, or B, the confidence in saying, this is where I am on this issue, this is where I stand on this issue, and I know it's not going to be popular for everybody. If they're not willing to go there and speak what is real to them, that is an answer.
What I hear you saying is you want a level playing field for not just the political candidates and the networks, but this story that you led with from the House Oversight Committee and the FBI calling in this whistleblower with Chuck Grassley, calling in people that should be nonpartisan. You just want a level playing field. Yeah, you want to know about anybody doing anything corrupt. That's what you're there to do.
Look, the important thing here is that it's been 1 week from Poopgate. And when we come back...
That was professional.
That wasn't. We will talk about it when we come back. Ryan, that's called a tease. It's something we do in the biz.
Wow, I'm along for the ride.
Are you excited for the next segment?
Yeah, it's great.
You just
I
sit
love
right
what
there.
you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be here all day. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com. In Pontoon Beach, Illinois, go visit them. Tell them Annie sent you when you arrive and ask the questions that you've been looking for answers for. It's a weird time to be a gun owner in the state of Illinois. If you're a Second Amendment supporter, if you are a Second Amendment supporter who's never physically owned a firearm, but for whatever particular reason you want to become responsible and educated and well exercised in that right, I highly encourage you to check out my friends at STS Armory. Katie and Jesse will probably be there. They have an amazing staff, and they know the answers to your questions. They know what's legal. They know the process, the FOID cards, if you want to get a conceal and carry, the education that you need to get, and they provide it. There are no better instructors in the area that are reliable, that have the facts, and will teach you the things that you need to know in an incredibly practical way. You're going to find them at STS Armory. If you're looking to make a purchase as well, which the Frey family is here shortly, I want you to check out STS Armory and listen to their guidance. If you know exactly what you want, they're going to be able to hook you up with that as well. 618-931-GUNS. 618-931-GUNS. In Pontoon Beach at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. Online at sts-armory.com.
Cardinals fans, baseball is back.
Down the line! Does it stay fair? You bet! It's a slammer!
Catch every pitch from every St. Louis Cardinals game live with News Radio 1120 KMOX on the free Odyssey app.
That's gone! Dylan Carlson!
The voices you know, the team you love.
It is a goner for Arenado!
Your St. Louis Cardinals, your Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today.
No matter where you live, what you make, or who you voted for, there are some things that will impact all of us soon. Whether you're concerned about the alarming increase in man-made disasters, financial institutions collapsing, or worsening food shortages, Americans are preparing in numbers not seen since World War II. What's changed is how we prepare. And the folks at My Patriot Supply have made it easier than ever for you to have peace of mind, knowing you're ready for what's next. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and stock up on over a dozen emergency food kits. These include tasty breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, fruits, veggies, meats, and snacks, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit per person. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. My Patriot Supply food kits are in stock and shipped discreetly. We've seen too many Americans let down by institutions we used to trust. It's time to rely on ourselves. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you.
My feet would just ache, my back, my ankles. I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Good Feet arch supports fit in all your own shoes. Come to the Good Feet store for a free test walk today. You can try it before you buy it.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk.
You've got your mother and your brother, every other undercover, telling you what to say. You think I'm stupid, but the truth is that it's Cupid, baby. Loving you has made me this way. So before you point your finger, get your hands off of my trigger. Oh, yeah. You need to know the situation's getting old.
Really?
I knew that's what she was going to play right there.
Anyhow.
1 week ago today.
If you know, you know.
1 week ago today that happened.
I'm prefacing this segment with, I'm sorry.
You should.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I really have left everybody in the dark as to what this is on purpose.
This is a little frustrating.
So 1 week ago from this show, in the pre-show last Wednesday, so if you're not familiar, so what we do is every day before the show starts at almost exactly noon, we come in here and we start the live stream, which is before the radio starts. And we just talk to the camera. We talk about what's coming up on the show. We preview, like today, we would have been talking about Deroy and Tommy Pigott and Wiggins America.
The poll.
And what's that? The poll. Yeah, the poll of the day.
Poll, we do it every day. It's on the YouTube live chat. People can go vote there.
Thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome. You asked what it was.
I did.
That's a Mel Brooks thing, isn't it? An airplane. Someone says, "What's that?" No, not airplane. Is that Spaceballs?
You'll have to say the quote.
Somebody asks what. Somebody will say something, and somebody else will go, "What's that?" And then they explain the thing.
Yeah.
Is that airplane or is that Spaceballs?
I feel like that's
you know
airplane.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, it's this thing that flies in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You don't know what I'm talking about?
It's been a long time since I've seen Airplane.
That's a Leslie Nielsen gag. That's an airplane.
Airplane? Okay.
I need to watch that movie again. The clean version.
Joe and FR and Quick Rick all say airplane.
Okay.
So
so
does
it's
Tony.
Airplane. So it's Airplane. So
Anywho.
In the pre-show at exactly noon, we went live. I think we got maybe one sentence out.
You can see all of this if you go back and watch Wednesdays. You can see it unfold.
Yeah. And
Wednesday, April 26th.
at the moment that Hannah and I started talking about what the show was going to be, Annie had opened the window.
No, it's always open. I closed the
You were
shade.
going to close the shade.
I walk over to the window behind me every day and close the shade so that the lighting in here is lovely. And I went to close the shade.
And in doing so, you looked out the window.
Yes.
Naturally.
And in that,
it was a beautiful day.
as today is.
The sun was out. The moon was out.
It was a bad moon.
She means but. She in that 3 seconds that you have before you close the blind, she just so happened to look out at that moment, and the camera caught all this, and saw a man.
The camera caught me.
Not what you were seeing.
Not the offender.
Caught us seeing this. Annie goes, "Oh my gosh, a guy's pooping in the park," and
Ryan.
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
sprinted.
I gotta see that."
It was the best day of Ryan's life.
So I'm like, "This is material for weeks," and it's true because I'm still talking about it a week later. And so I run over there. As does everybody else.
Not as fast as you.
You were the farthest away, and you were the first one over there.
Yeah, you pushed me.
He pushed Hannah down into the ground. She fell over and he stepped on her face.
My knee is still scraped up.
Her face went right into an anthill. And I stepped on her face. All of you went to the window.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it about me. You guys all wanted to see guy pooping
It's on
in the
video.
park.
People could see it.
Yeah, you can see it for yourself. And that sound that she played was Hannah looking out for just a half second, walking away, and then doing that. That's her almost gagging.
No, that was a real gag, and I was sick for the whole rest of the day.
Yes.
That does not sound like a Hannah sound.
No.
I didn't know what that was when you
None of
guys
us
were
did.
first showing me.
They cut that audio out and
I thought
played
it was a
and
Star
said, "What do you
Wars
think this
sound."
is?"
Sounds like a lightsaber to me.
It's a Wookiee.
So I was in the car a couple nights ago, and I just start singing songs about guy pooping in the park. and I was like, this is funny. And then I thought, you know what I could do is make a bit out of this. So what I have done is what we've put together here a compilation CD, just like hits from the 70s. About guy pooping in the park. And I'm giving Brad and Hannah.
If this is the best thing the show has ever done, I have nothing to do with it. Same if it's the worst.
And if it's the worst, which it will be.
Oh my gosh.
That's a full script. Now they're getting it cold.
What are we reading this?
Yeah,
raw?
Just to be clear, I'm B.
You're B. Hannah, you are H.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're gonna start this. When I say go, you start the script. And the commercial for the CD will begin.
I always end up being the person to read everything cold.
I'm reading it cold too.
Yeah, I'm the only one that even knows anything about this right now.
Here we
All right,
go.
ready? Go.
Oh, hi, Hannah.
Hi, Brad. What are you doing?
I'm listening to the great new CD, Hits from the AFS Pre-Show.
Oh, yeah? What's that all about?
It's a series of songs written about a guy we all saw taking a dump in the park 1 week ago today, right before we went on the air at noon.
I'd love to know what was on that CD.
Sure. It's got great hits like artists from Bruce Springsteen.
These runs of fire, even if we're just moving in the park.
Okay, now you pick back up.
Wow, that's Bruce Springsteen?
Yes.
You're getting fired.
Amazing. But Gen Z saw the guy pooping in the park too. Does it have anything for the younger generation?
Sure. Check out this sweet track from New Kids on the Block.
The brown stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The Brown Stuff by New Kids is one of my favorites, but it can't be all hit artists like Springsteen and New Kids. Is there any 90s country?
Oh, you bet.
He could go by the river waiting till the moonlight. Instead,
Ellen.
he's pooping in broad daylight. He's putting on a show.
Oh, this is Jeremiah's song, not this version.
That dude.
Wow. These really are the best songs ever written about a person defecating in public. This CD's got to cost $1 million.
Yes, but it's not just one CD. It's two.
Of course it's two.
2 CDs from popular artists about human excretions?
That's right, Hannah. Here's one from Bon Jovi.
That wasn't
Bon Jovi's That Wasn't a Fart is such a popular song with my friends.
I figured.
I'm not even sure I've ever been more excited in my life.
Order your CD today. Here's Annie's phone number.
Hey!
The end.
I'm going to give you Stewie's phone number.
That was good.
There we go. That was...
How did you feel recording all those?
What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It was the best part of this day.
It was so embarrassing. But you just got to do things for the job sometimes that the job calls for. Huge shout out to Alex Rich from Y98 who helped me do parts of all of those.
Is he going to get that sponsored for us?
No.
Get someone to actually produce that CD.
Well, that's why I priced it at $1 million. If somebody does want to pay for it,
We just need one.
we got one copy.
Reach out to like Metamucil or
Whoever wants to pay for that.
Man, this comes back to your diaper sponsorship. It depends.
I do want to be clear.
Do you love this album? It depends.
It was not me that pooped in the park. I think we're getting issues conflated here.
I don't know that we could prove that.
No, we can. I was on camera in the studio.
Yeah, but nobody could see who was out there.
But you could see me here.
And you're saying this dress like a Fed again.
Every time I wear this hat, I'm Fed. Man, I got to tell you, I really was coming up with song after song.
Were you in your car by yourself?
Yeah.
Were you laughing out loud to yourself?
Yeah, I was. I was in the Dairy Freeze drive-through.
In Collinsville?
Yeah.
Or Caseyville? Or
No,
what?
that's
chocolate
Collinsville.
ice cream.
And I was like, oh, dip cone, that's going to be funny. And I'm just laughing, and people don't know what I'm laughing at. Last night.
Did you explain it to him in
No.
thorough detail?
Oh, you don't understand. I'm on a radio show. Oh, okay.
It's the Bart Cox Morning Show.
Yeah. Last night, I was at my son's baseball game, and I was walking around singing, even if we're just pooping in the park, like, to myself. It got stuck in my head. And my wife at one point nudges me. She goes, "You're singing that out loud. People going to hear that."
Does she know what you're doing? Did you explain it to her?
I did explain it to her. There was one more. So I had another one that I was going to record that she said, "Nope, don't do that one. That one's not funny enough."
It's good that you have her to bounce these things off.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. The one that she said no to was shoop, which was just poop.
Poop, baby,
Yeah,
poop,
I want to poop,
baby.
baby. She goes, no, don't do that one.
Poop, baby. That's going to be...
Yeah.
G-Wib says that CD will make a buttload of money.
There we go. Thank you, G-Wibs.
Oh, gee.
You're telling me that there's not some sort of silver seniors support or sponsor out there that we can't get right now on this show, on this album?
I'm not telling you that. I think that
people.
there should be somebody.
Fiber.
Yes. We will advertise it well.
All right. Well, I have no words. If you want to see the actual video of us, or make sure you always tune into the pre-show, you can subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And if you click that notification bell when you go to subscribe to us, you get alerted when we go live. It's kind of a helpful reminder there. We'll be back in a minute with the poll results when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The wait is over. Golden Oak Lending announces that we have dropped our mortgage rates to the lowest they've been all year.
If you've thought about purchasing a home or getting cash out to wipe out debt, you can now benefit from Golden Oak's low 5.25% rate.
Credit card rates are at an all-time high. Don't pay over 25% in interest.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 5.25% fixed, 5.928% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Well, we're looking at an awesome weekend coming up, and man, it's going to be a great time at Andrea's Steakhouse. They are doing their first annual Kentucky Derby social. You do have to sign up by tomorrow, so go to andreas.com and you will see. It's the first thing that comes up. It's like an extra screen that comes up and shows you everything that you'll get when you purchase a ticket for this Saturday for the Kentucky Derby social at Andrea's, including lots and lots and lots of endless food, endless mint juleps, bourbon tasting station, cigars. I mean, it's all a part of the ticket. And you can see all that at andreas.com. While you're there, check out their sauces. They are so good. Brad and I talk off air about these just because we love the new barbecue sauce so much. check out their new barbecue sauce. Of course, their steak sauce, their salad dressing, they're famous for those. You can get them all at Schnucks and Deerbergs and at Andreas.com. They are famous outside of the St. Louis area. So if you've never had them and you live in St. Louis, my goodness, you're missing out. Go to Andreas.com. That's where you can see everything that I just talked about, the tickets for Kentucky Derby Social, and all three of those sauces, the steak sauce, the barbecue sauce, and the salad dressing, Andreas.com.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here from my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Need help in marketing, sales, technology, or leadership? If so, then you'll want to be at the St. Louis Business Expo on May 10th. It's the largest B2B event in Missouri, and we've lined up 17 different seminars with leaders in those fields. Plus, you can get your questions answered directly with our Ask the Expert section. Join us at the St. Charles Convention Center May 10th from 11 to 5 for the St. Louis Business Expo. It's where great business relationships start, and it's all free. Just register right now at stlexpo.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Caleb Robin is the Senate Pro Tem.
You got to figure out which is the best first thing to do for St. Louis to say Kim Gardner needs to go away one way or the other.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stop.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And now I beg to see you dance.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
How much of St. Louis is now poop parroting every song that they hear?
Well, I would hope 100%. I mean, that was the goal.
100% of the Annie Frey Show listeners.
It's a fun little hobby.
You said that you said this off the air, the one that you didn't end up doing, right?
Did I say no? I said shoop on air.
You did say that on air?
Mm-hmm. There was one more that actually kicked off the whole thing that I ended up not using because it was just so hard to sing. Me and Alex were really struggling. Was the song Reminiscing by Little River Band that goes, and we'll go dancing in the dark, walking through the park and reminiscing. Well, you know where that goes. And we'll go pooping in the park, wiping with the bark.
Yes, obviously. I mean, who doesn't know that that's where that goes?
Yeah, obviously.
If you have no idea what we're talking about and you're tuning in a little early to hear the Mark Reardon Show, Sorry. And you should rewind on the Odyssey app if you're listening to us there, and make sure you hear the 1-week anniversary of Poopgate. We saw at the beginning of the show on Wednesday a man who just leaned himself up against a tree and took a poop right there.
Yeah. In a public park.
In a public
next
park.
to a very, very tall building. Lots of tall buildings, actually.
Noon. Lots of windows.
Lots of people around. Nobody physically near him, so I'll give him credit for that.
We're not 100% sure why.
Close enough.
But people were in the park.
I felt close to him.
Never felt closer to somebody in my life. It was a very, very intimate moment.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is the natural transition and professional thing to do here, is to comment: how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Win Congress, win the presidency and Congress, or lose House control? Brad, you commented earlier in the show. Did you pick presidency and Congress, or just presidency?
Yeah, presidency and Congress.
So you think keep the House, win the Senate, win the presidency.
Yep.
Mr. Brightside, Brad Range. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm going to agree with Mr. Range, say that win presidency and Congress is the most likely, simply because of the track record of Joe Biden.
I'm saying win Congress. I think we keep the House and expand our lead there. I think we win the Senate, and I don't feel confident enough that we're going to win the presidency to say at this point in time. I mean, I feel like obviously that should be the case, but I felt very convicted, obviously, that things should go a certain way in the midterms, and they didn't. So
yeah,
fool me once. So I'm just going to say Congress. Hannah, what do you think? And then tell us what the listeners think.
I'm going to go with the boys and say that I think the GOP is going to win both the presidency and the House in 2024. You made a great point about midterms. I really thought the red wave was going to be bigger, and it didn't end up that way, so that's a good point. But I do think that Americans have just had enough of not just Joe Biden, but Democrat policies in general. So I say that I feel like we're going to win the presidency and Congress. Our listeners are saying that, let's see, Blues Lifer says they will be lucky enough to even win Congress. The rig is set for pouts. What does that mean?
Maybe he means POTUS and just typed it wrong.
Oh, here we go again. Me just reading comments as they're written. Vicky Long says, I accidentally clicked on lose House control, meant win both. Well, now the whole poll is won.
Oh, great. Thanks, Vicky.
Sounds like an election.
Larry from YouTube says, win both. I believe America has had enough of this train wreck. Linda says, I voted win both, but to be honest, it's just a prayer for our country. I'm not sure I totally believe it. Betsy says, picked both, hopefully will end up not just wishful thinking. Grant says, this was the hardest poll in a while. I'm a 62-year-old man and have voted in a lot of presidential elections. I have never before actually been afraid of the outcome like I am for 2024. Benjamin says, I voted that the GOP will lose both. It's not enough to beat Joe Biden or Democratic leadership right now, and the GOP does not have a unified positive platform.
That is a good, astute observation, but that's generally the case in a primary.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the midterms wouldn't reflect the presidency as much because people didn't connect high prices and things as much to Democrats as they do to Biden?
I think that the Roe v. Wade overturning had everything to do with it. I think it was big enough to bring out the people who wouldn't normally show up in a midterm and vote.
Then do you think that we'd be far enough away from that decision in 2024 that it's not as much of a motivator?
Depends on how they campaign.
Yeah.
Because the left, if they're smart, campaigns all over it.
Well, they will. I mean, I think Biden has already said in meetings that they're going to lean into that as hard as they possibly can.
So what do the Republicans do? That's the question.
Yeah.
Paul Scott from our YouTube page says, my opinion about how the GOP will do is that we will win Congress, but only if they have the right messaging. I think it is still way too early to say anything about the presidential race. Carlo says, I voted win presidency and the Congress because I'm hopeful, though the GOP as of lately has shown they can mess up a sure thing without blinking. Scott Lane from YouTube says, I voted win Congress. Unfortunately, as much as I like Trump, I'm afraid he'll win the nomination, and as the Democrats will pull someone who was unqualified out of their hat to beat them.
I have not in my mind really allowed myself, because I am a realist, by my own definition, pessimist by others. I haven't really considered what this is going to be like if Donald Trump wins. Jack Posobiec, who is seems to be completely on the Trump train in his tweets, tweeted out something that was showing the ability of Donald Trump to win in key areas, and it was favorable to Trump. But he also included in that tweet the super favorability of a Trump DeSantis ticket. And people aren't talking about that right now, and people haven't been talking about that right now. I still think it would be foolish of Ron DeSantis to do it. But if you consider the history of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and how nasty they were towards each other, and then they partnered up, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I don't know. You think it's a possibility?
There's always a possibility. I don't think it's the most likely possibility.
He was saying that people view a Trump at the top, DeSantis VP ticket very, very favorably overall.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's no ticket where Donald Trump is not the top ticket.
No. I just wanted to make sure that he was saying that there was polling that was showing that Trump DeSantis is polling really well among favorability ratings.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I haven't seen that. Interesting.
Donald Trump was so nasty to so many people in the primary in 2016, and he's buddies with most of them now.
Is it DeSantis Trump that you think brings in brings in both wings of the kind of fighting factions? Is that why that is?
The two candidates that are being considered for the Republican nomination right now, the two leading candidates are those two. And if you take, the 53%, and I think it was 21% Friday, you could look at a million different polls and come up with a million different divisions of how this lands. But that's 74%. That's 3/4 of the Republican Party is saying this is my guy. And you put that together, I mean, who's left out of that except for the people who eat, sleep, and breathe hatred for Donald Trump? Because Ron DeSantis people don't hate Donald Trump. They probably prefer Ron DeSantis. They do. They prefer Ron DeSantis, and they know that Ron DeSantis' successes are based on the Trump model, but it just comes without the Trump baggage. The people who love Donald Trump and hate Ron DeSantis, I mean, come at me, bro, but you just hate Ron DeSantis because Donald Trump told you to. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
If you had Trump DeSantis, I mean, this is just fascinating to me now to think about, because if you had Trump DeSantis on that ticket, you would have two really strong, like battle-weary media voices versus two people in Biden and Harris who are the polar opposite of that. Those two people are not good at delivering their message at all.
Yeah, but they're just hiding behind the media at that point.
They can hide behind the media, so yeah.
It's
it
not
levels
a fair field. You want to do the results?
The results are... Anna, do you have anything to say for yourself?
The YouTube poll today is asking how successful do you expect the GOP to be in 2024? Do you think they're going to win Congress? Do you think they're going to win the presidency? Do you think they're going to win both? Or do you think they're going to lose House control? With over 160 votes, 40% of the people said that they expect the GOP to win both the presidency and the Congress in 2024. 40% of people said that. 28% of the people said that they expect the GOP to lose House control in 2024. 18% of the people said that they expect them to win Congress. And 14% of the people said they expect the GOP to win the presidency in 2024. 40% is pretty big for both.
Yeah. I find it interesting that the biggest one is win it all, and the second place is lose it all.
Yeah, because it really could be all or nothing. I mean, that seems to be the way things go, is these are kind of wave elections that happen over and over now.
Mm-hmm. Man. Well, you're going to want to stick around here because the Mark Reardon Show is taking over where we are leaving off, so don't go away. Annie Frey Show podcasts are available to you. If you missed something, check it out on our podcast, wherever your podcast provider is. And a reminder to subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And like I said, you can hit the notification bell and you'll get a notification on your phone when we go live at noon with the pre-show, which anything can happen during the pre-show. And we'd love to have you start your afternoon out with us. We'll also have stuff from our trip. The show is going to Florida this weekend, and we'd love for you to come along with us. Subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show, Frey, The Annie Frey Show. We'd love to connect with you there. Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk next.
Control tonight.